You're gonna get demonetized.
You gonna talk fanboy all jazz jackrabbits? Conversation is verboten.
No, I was talking about Bucky O'Hare. Fuck you. I'm not talking about Jazz Jackrabbit. Fuck Jazz Jackrabbit.
You're jazz jackrabbit now. You're jazz jackrabbiting.
Okay, no more.
It says it's
Lurid.
streaming,
Little
but I
beaver
can't tell if
mascots.
it's streaming. There we go. It
I'm
still
I'm
says
gonna-
Florida Man Simulator.
Well, I'm not changing it.
I mean,
always
we're
Florida
still
Man
simulating a Florida
Simulator.
man.
Weirdest sim ever.
I'm gonna
Although it's
grab
probably a
water
lot
bottle.
safer than actually
Good
being
idea.
from Florida.
I mean, you can, like, video games allow you to do things you'd never want to do in real life, like be
Yeah.
a Florida man.
Wow, hurtful.
You don't want to be a Florida man, you just are.
I just love. On some basic level, though, I love it.
But actual power washing is so
Hold on, my wife's calling.
satisfying.
Yeah, but that's, like, there's only so much to power wash. The advantage of Power Washing Simulator is that you have an infinite supply of things to power wash.
And you don't have to pay the water bill.
And
Yeah.
fantastic things that you can power wash. You can power wash
Power
Final
wash
Fantasy
jar.
VII.
Yeah,
You can power wash what? I didn't catch that.
Final Fantasy VII.
Oh.
They added a DLC where you can power wash in Midgar and FF7.
Oh. Interesting. Interesting.
The various locations from video game from 1997.
You can also power wash SpongeBob for some reason. Don't know how that works underwater.
I was about to say, what I understand about physics only adds more questions.
That just raises further questions. My home, it burned down!
Oh, there's my cigar.
That just
I'm
raises
back.
further questions.
Sabine has decided to start a stream and immediately leave. I appreciate the chutzpah.
But did you just say chutzpah?
What?
I will fight you!
I like his moxie? What do you want with me?
I appreciate that somebody else said it first. Well, we'll talk about your Yiddish later,
Hey,
Gogglebot.
so speaking of Florida, man, guess who just had to release a lizard from his house?
Wow.
These things happen.
We are no longer
Welcome to
simulating Florida Man. We are simply Florida Man.
The stream hasn't started until you've released all lizards from your home.
Just a lizard. There could be others, but they're better hidden.
All known lizards.
I'm just imagining these
Welcome to
being a
summer. collectible
collectible in Beat's house. If he releases
Gotta
enough
catch 'em all.
lizards, he gets a. If he releases enough lizards, he gets another inventory spot.
Yeah,
I'm thinking rupee wallet.
it's like collecting Korok seeds.
Yeah. If you release too many lizards, you just get lizard shit.
Technically, you get lizard shit if you don't release enough.
I know, it's a difficult balancing act.
This is why I don't have pets.
Because you'd be accidentally releasing them?
To make
No, because
to
then I
make
have to
one
clean
more
up after them.
to make one more Futurama reference, I am going to get you so many lizards.
Yeah.
Alright, so since we're all talking and none of us are actually listening to the audio, what's going on here?
There's no audio. This is the quiet part of the game.
Yeah, there's no voice acting in this video game.
I mean,
Oh,
there's like
okay.
incidental grunts, but that's about it.
Yeah,
I just
like,
realized
not
there was
proper-
actually text on the screen.
Yeah,
Now,
I love,
I'm going to say...
you're getting released from jail. That's all that's happened so far.
I love
Okay.
that
Now,
the
I'm going to
implication
say,
here
I don't...
is that you had to be released, but the other guy just kicked his door down.
He's tough like that.
That
Were you
sounds
gonna?
He's just way
Were you
better
gonna
at this
say-
shit than you.
I'm going to say that I don't know much about this game, but I'm already really attached to our main character's head, so I really hope nothing happens to our main character's head.
Good news!
the blonde or the...
The blonde,
The
obviously.
blonde is our main character in this
That's
context.
a great head.
Is it? That seems pretty mediocre to me.
I mean, he's identified as pretty boy, right?
Yeah, no, he
I'm
is
just-
very pretty. Every time I look at him, I'm like, man, that is such
Assigned pretty boy by developers.
that is such
Well,
a
apparently
nice
now
head.
his name is Bo.
I'm certain nothing bad will happen to it. Gogglebot, I'm in your corner on this one. I don't see anything wrong going here at all.
Yeah, no, 100% agreed.
Hey, yo.
I love how like all the
I like
idle
how you have,
animations
like-
are just a little dance.
I like how you have the exact jump arc of Jet Set Radio, despite not currently being in inlines.
This
It's just
dude
part of his
cannot
bone.
Stop dancing.
I can't either.
Look,
Like
it doesn't
we
matter
live
if
in
you
a tragic.
can dance. You should dance. It's very simple.
Like we live in
Not
a.
being-
We live in a. Okay.
No, you started.
I was gonna say we live in a tragic world where only one person on this call has seen what I do, basically at any given time when I'm just waiting for something.
You have an idle animation?
I have an idle animation and it's bad dancing. Beat has seen this.
I've seen you dance in the club, man. I've seen you dance at levels.
You've also seen that.
I've seen you dance at levels of dance unbeknownst to most. Also, I love how the first thing we've done, like since we got freedom, was vandalize a police station.
Graffito is important.
This is obviously
Okay,
the
but-
tutorial section.
But my dude, like, oh, he's making me nervous. Who keeps doing that? Like, they don't just have him stand still for any amount of time.
He's got a
don't believe
beat
I
in his
think so
head.
it's hard.
We don't believe in standing
I'm
still.
dancing to the beat in my head.
Okay, I now have
Okay.
the inlines.
Now you're
I was
Jet
gonna
Set.
say, for not being Jet Set Radio, there was a severe lack of wheels.
You know, if it's not Jet Set Radio, then there shouldn't be any wheels, right? Because this game
Yep.
is legally distinct from Jet Set Radio. Absolutely.
Ignore the similarities in style, in tone, and in composer.
And music.
It does not have a
That's why I
hosting
said it in
DJ.
composer.
No, in many ways, actually, it actually like builds upon a lot of stuff in Jet Set Radio. Like Jet Set Radio does not have like a crazy boost like that. Or at least the first one did. I think
Yeah,
there's
it's
something
kind
similar
of
in
like
Future.
the boost in Future, which used the paint cans as your boost mechanic. So it definitely feels like they were sort of looking at like, what would a sequel to Jet Set Radio Future have looked like?
Oh yeah.
I think you need to be out of the
You
inlines.
picked it
Yep.
in the vent with the skates on.
I'm sorry. Did someone say vandalism?
We didn't, but we were all thinking it.
So what is it? As long as you hit all the dots, you're
Yeah,
Covered.
there's there are
You have a-
options for how to do it, and like every piece of graffiti you can draw is based on creating a different image. Like for example, that time I created Bomb Rush Crew.
Wow.
But yeah, they sort of kind of split the difference between original and future. Where in original you had like this Simon Says minigame that you had to do every time that you did graffiti. In future, they like determined that that was oftentimes kind of just like slowed the pace of the game down to a crawl.
Yeah.
So they made it so you would just automatically tag something, and in this case, you do a mini game, but it's much faster.
Yeah, it's very much
It's as fast as you want it to be.
instantaneous. You can normally do it just by circling the control stick once or twice.
Yeah, like if you don't care what you're putting, it's very easy to just put whatever. If you do care what you're putting, you will quickly learn what your favorites are.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, it's the police.
Fuck the cops.
oh no to Popo.
Yeah, no, this game added
uh-oh,
combat, which
polio.
I don't believe was in either. I know it was in Jet Set Radio, the original, and I've played very little of Future. So,
In future, you could like ram through people and graffiti them, but that was the extent of it.
Oh.
I think that
You
This
mean it's
is-
not a fighting game?
honestly, the fighting and the combat in this game is, I would probably say, one of the weaker components of it.
yeah, you learn to like, as with many games that have combat but which are not about combat, you generally like figure out tricks to make the combat go faster. And that's generally your best case scenario.
I mean, it was mildly a throwaway comment, but yeah, I forgot there's actual sort of combat.
Yeah, you just sort of spin around a lot. It's mostly just slightly aggressive
Crash.
breakdancing.
You crash into
I didn't
things.
know that there was like a cutscene for talking to that guy mid fighting the cops. That's cool. That's the sort
You
of thing
learn
that absolutely
something
does
new
not need to be in the game, but you put it in anyways. Yeah, that's right. Cops, run away to your precinct that we're in the front yard of right now.
I
don't think it's late. There'd be more working right now.
I can't imagine a cop being willing to work a single second longer than they had to.
Oh, I can, because that's how the entire overtime scam works.
I was
Oh
about
yeah,
to
but
say,
they're not
guess
actually
what?
doing anything.
Oh yeah, that's true. They're not. It's not like they're working.
Working.
I love these Dreamcast era models. They're just great.
I like the hair
You could-
that's defying gravity. But
Cut a man
I've
on
said
those
that about
elbows.
other games too.
Make games that are less that don't require someone spending 10 years on every individual model.
And also, I'll say, I know these are like.
Uh-oh, Goggle
compared-
Bob. I think you're going to be upset by what just happened.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
It's glorious head.
Who could have predicted this?
Aww.
Imagine losing your head while T-posing.
That's that. I feel like we as a society need to move away from T-posing to establish dominance, and for very few are gamer enough to get this reference. Jesus from Bible.
You know who established dominance over sin?
My mom.
Oh, CyberOS. Professional.
Hello, Boo.
I love this dumb little montage because there's just
extremely
it's
swear
just
booby.
so fun. just the idea that these two just hang out at their cool hideout all the time, just doing whatever.
You'd hang out here too.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I want that table right
I
now.
fucking would spend every day here.
And I used to own that couch.
Why would
It
you get
matched
rid of
your
it?
walls.
Because it was really uncomfortable.
Have you
looks
like a
considered a devotion to the aesthetic that is more than this?
I mean, I always called it, while I had it, I called it the punishment couch, because somebody would come into my, and it was in my living room, somebody would come into my living room and look and say, oh, there's a couch here, I will put my butt on it, and then they would be immediately punished for their hubris.
Meet the
Why
rest
would
of
you
the
have a
crew.
couch that is not comfortable?
Because I bought it on Amazon
question.
entirely based on aesthetics.
Boy. Pardon
Yeah,
me.
that makes sense.
That's what happened. But it looked just like that.
You should have read a bunch of reviews by psychopaths.
You look kind of pathetic without a head, so I got you a new one. I love like that, like his attitude towards it was, oh damn, well, we can fix this.
I love that, like, everyone in this seems like fully like convinced of the notion of like, if I put a new head on the body, it's still the same dude.
The thing is,
Because
though,
that's clearly how biology
they
works.
actually totally go against that over the course of the plot.
Yeah, I know. It's just that at the start, it feels really incongruous because everyone's like, "Oh yeah, you're the same guy, right?"
At the start, yeah.
Also, her outfit looks super comfy.
I like how
Appears to be wearing like a cool ring
they
around her head.
okay, so like obviously Belle, the character, is designed to be sexy, but I really like how they did not like let the fact that she's supposed to be hot override the fact that she's supposed to be a Dreamcast character.
Hey, everybody knows that PlayStation era Lara Croft is apparently the sexiest a woman could ever be. So,
I mean, yeah,
I read it on the internet.
Unrealistic beauty standards.
unrealistic standards of beauty.
You could imagine just about anything, like in a realistic version of those polygons, as long as those boobs were enormous.
Yeah, like you could like whatever Laura Croft her mind's eye saw, that was real.
I mean, those hands are disproportionate, but you know.
Oh well, yeah, no, it's Dreamcast era. If you wanted to model individual fingers, those hams had to be ham hocks.
Had giant mitts on everyone. So one
I
of
was
the
about
things
to
that
say before our good friend got decapitated, it's weird that it's definitely, I know technically it's Dreamcast era, but for whatever reason my brain goes to GameCube immediately for these kind of graphics. I think it's kind of the color palette. Like I think,
I just assume it's cell shading, which
but that's also a possibility. But and also the fact that so many Dreamcast games wound up on the GameCube.
like
Okay, so like it is the GameCube was actually, if not like ridiculously more powerful than the Dreamcast, it was
there's a lot.
it was able to do quite a bit more than the Dreamcast was.
Yeah, I mean
This sense of
side
Dreamcast
stuff,
Plus
isn't it?
would end up looking vaguely GameCube-ish.
Yeah,
This game,
15
as
tricks
a
in one combo, she asks.
15?
15.
This game,
Wow.
as a general rule, is much more. It likes like tricks are just sort of a thing that happens in original Jet Set Radio and Future. This one has a lot more like to do with them, and they're sort of like if someone tried to balance Tony Hawk around an infinite grind code.
None of this means anything to me.
It
Well,
means
that's because none of the words are in your child Bible. I say that with only affection in my heart, I promise.
It's
I
okay.
actually understood those words. Excited. Just keep talking about Tony Hawk.
To a particular era.
No, we are both now in a conspiracy to make sure that Tony Hawk streams happen in the future.
Yeah, I have no objections to this conspiracy. I think it's almost unanimous at this point anyway.
Gonna mention it every week until it happens.
I mean, we're watching
Sort of
a
like how
skateboarding
Death by
game.
Degrees
It's gonna be
stream absolutely must happen. It's an inevitability.
But yeah, there's an interesting mechanic here where like just like Jet Set Radio, you can't fuck up a grind.
Oh yeah, no,
But-
you have absolute rail magnetism.
But if you are
That
if
was
the
way more
rail
than
changes,
15 tricks.
Yeah, if the rail changes
54.
direction. Yeah, if the rail changes direction, if you are holding in that direction when it changes, you get a speed boost and you get an increase to your score multiplier.
Yep.
But you can only do it once per rail direction change
Yeah.
while in a combo. So if you're told to get a high score, the game really encourages you to grind every fucking surface in the level.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm staging beats.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm bad at talking and playing, so I appreciate what you're saying.
I was going to say anything that helps the person playing relay information.
Oh yeah, no, it's very much appreciated.
Yeah. This game also, as has been shown, you can choose between multiple. You can choose between walking, skateboard, inline, and bicycle. For the most part, those differences are ornamental.
Yeah, there's not much. There's like I think
Like
slight.
the real
differences.
modes are walking and vehicle.
Yeah, there are slight differences in like speed, but as Fanboy said, like there's not that much difference. One of the actual differences between the modes is that you can sorry, I'm bad at thinking
Yeah, it's
plots
fine.
right now. One of the differences is there are special areas that you can only reach with each vehicle. But as Fanboy said, it's much more about just what you feel like, what you enjoy, like fooling around on.
For 90% of the game, you're just going to use whatever feels best to you.
Yeah. Each character has a
Wow.
default like mode of transport, and I never change them because, way I see it, if
That's part of how you
Trice here
characterize
likes
them.
riding a BMX bike, who am I to tell him, no, stop doing that?
But
It's
the
one of those things where
aesthetic-
it's like it's part of how they're characterized, their preferred vehicle. So.
Yeah, like
gives you incentive to switch tunes.
So apparently, the guy I was before I got my head chopped off was a dude named Fox, and he was super cool. And you know, it's not me anymore.
Everyone
but...
thought his shit was legit.
So what,
No,
are
you
you
were.
not allowed to use his tags anymore?
No, we can. We just don't want to. Fuck that guy.
Graffiti is art.
Graffiti is art. I love graffiti.
Yeah.
The artist of Theseus?
Yeah.
I feel strongly that I will take almost any tag over a just giant bear wall.
Yeah.
On the main highways around here, we have those giant, like, sound barrier walls.
I also
And-
love. I just love DJ Cyber, flanked by his phalanx of mosquito mask girls. Just fucking awesome.
That's a
You're
unique look.
saying, you're saying about sound barriers?
No, that, you know, they're just bland and boring, and, like, the graffiti artists will decorate them, and then the towns will come out and paint over them, and then the taggers will come back out and tag them again, and then they get painted over, and I'm like, at this point, who's spending more money on paint, the artists or the towns that are repainting over it?
Oh yeah.
But it's like, these are very boring walls. Put a mural up or something.
All right. So I do want to comment on what we just saw with all the dudes dancing, and like the little cutscene there. In Jet Set Radio proper, that would have been a DJ Professor K bit. And
Yeah.
the fact that
This game does lack a DJ Professor K.
yeah,
character.
like this game captures a lot of what I love about Jet Set Radio, but the lack of a DJ Professor K is such a downside. I can't get over it.
He's very useful for
Yeah.
for
Important
setting
part
things
of-
up.
An important part of characterization.
And just ask noted movie The Warriors.
Moving the plot along.
Like just setting up the world without having to have a long, like you can have a much more concise exposition.
Yeah. Giving you the plot points without having to sit through a narration.
Yeah. Well, the
It is the
narration. The thing about the Warriors is there is narration. There's constant narration,
Oh, yeah.
but the narration is sort of the point. Also,
It's
I
a
love these
story.
guys. They're just like made out of other dudes, and the stitches on them are made to look like
Frank and
baseball
dude.
stitches.
Oh, his name is Frank.
His
That's
name is
convenient.
literally Frank. Yeah, that's the name of the gang, the Franks.
They didn't
Oh.
come here to be subtle.
Also, their leader. I mean, this is not a spoiler. Their leader's name is the Flesh Prince.
No!
Yes.
Story all about how
No!
It's awesome. I fucking love this game.
I mean, that's fantastic, but that's also terrible, and it makes me so sad. It's terrible, and it's amazing all at once. Like, I didn't see it coming, and that makes me sad, too.
I mean, you really should have. That one's on you. Anyway, by giving those little robots high fives, I get to go into the secret area and get a secret.
Plus, giving a high five is dumb.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, for anybody out there who's high-fiving people and not getting the secret areas, just letting you know, you should continue high-fiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll
will happen
unlock a
eventually.
secret area eventually.
I always think of the time I went skateboarding in the park near where I live, and like
How
there was
old were
this
you?
dad there teaching his two kids to skateboard, which is adorable, right? Nothing but positive vibes for those kids, right? And this guy just comes out and starts giving all the kids high fives as they go past him on their
Oh my
skateboards.
god!
And then he sees me and runs over to give me a high five too. And I was like, fuck yeah! This is the
That
correct
is the
day to go
energy we need in the
skateboarding.
world.
This is
To
what we
answer your-
need. This is what the world is lacking.
To answer your question, Beat was likely at least 30 when this occurred.
Oh, this happened last year, man.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying.
So at least 30, there you go.
Okay, how do I fucking... Up there it is. Forgot my buttons. Okay.
it definitely hits the nostalgic buttons, though.
Oh yeah. Wait. Can I? Oh, I can. Oh, we're going to secret area, gang.
And I say that especially because I don't know if I've mentioned this on stream before or not, but my brother is a little bit younger than me, and he had the option to purchase a Dreamcast or a PS2. And he bought the Dreamcast 2 weeks before the PS2 came out.
All right. In like terms of
For
like
at least 2 years, he had a much better time.
yeah,
But not a DVD player.
yeah. Like
I just
Dreamcast did not last like nearly as long as the PS2, but
for those for those couple years.
I feel like
for
he
those
was also
couple of
ahead of
years,
its
he was
time.
living it. He was living the high life.
Yeah, it was also a little bit ahead of its time with respect to the portable doohickey. I can't remember what it's
Oh yeah,
called.
the VMUs. Yeah,
I would actually say the VMU is actually extremely of its time because it was them being like, we must respond to the glory of the Tamagotchi.
And also, we must
Was it-
make a memory card something memorable for some reason.
Well, was it the Tamagotchi or was it just like something to compete with Game Boy? Because it was really
it was really the
Majority-
Tamagotchi. The VMU was not a Game Boy replacement.
Okay.
I'll
I
bring
just
this up.
remember it was the removable screen thing. I don't remember what it actually did.
Yeah, so in terms of capabilities, it's very similar to a Tamagotchi or a Japan-only PlayStation product that no one remembers or cares about called the Pocket Station.
Hey, I am a Final Fantasy VIII truther. I remember that.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it was good.
I just told you I remember it.
But yeah,
It
the other
vaguely
thing,
sounds familiar.
yeah,
That's because you are a
it's
tiny baby.
it was a very short-lived peripheral that worked with all of like 8 games. I remember that a friend of mine had a cheap third-party memory card that Final Fantasy VIII thought was a Pocket Station. So we got to see the tutorial for Chocobo World for some reason. But the thing about the other thing about the Dreamcast is it actually did have connectivity with a competitor to the Game Boy, the Neo Geo Pocket Color.
Oh yeah, God, I remember those.
And there's like 3 games that can connect to the Dreamcast from the Neo Geo.
Is one of them Sonic Pocket Adventure, which is
Yeah.
not Sonic Advance.
No,
was
Pocket
a
Adventure.
totally different thing.
No, because
God,
Pocket
okay.
Adventure is basically what if Sonic 2 on Genesis was smaller and on something roughly equivalent to a Game Boy Color.
And I want to say Capcom versus SNK had some sort of connection too.
Yeah. No, that connected to honestly a couple things I think, because I think it might have done some shit in Card Fighters Clash, but it also did. It definitely did stuff in the SNK versus Capcom Match of the Millennium.
Which I want to point out that
Speaking
this
of
is a fighting game that really does not require anything like a Chow Garden to keep you going.
There we go.
Speaking of Capcom, though, hey,
Just got a new.
they're bringing back
mixtape.
one of their good games.
God, I have to say, I have a hard time thinking, like, you say one of their good games, like, there is definitely a list, and it probably includes Dino Crisis, but I'm having a hard time at this point thinking of any Capcom games in history that isn't going to exist in a playable form on the Nintendo Switch other than Disney Afternoon Collection.
The original PS1 Resident Evil.
Well, there you go. But you do have Resident Evil options to spare in other fashion.
Yeah, no, it makes me sad that there isn't like a Resident Evil Legacy collection that has like the PS1 games.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say just, like I made the joke about Dino Crisis, but basically a survival horror collection would be pretty ideal.
My favorite thing watching that like recent thing where it's like, oh, they held a survey about what franchise people want to see come back, and Dino Crisis won. Surely they'll do something about that. It's like Buddy, saying you want a new Dino Crisis doesn't mean shit. None of them play like each other.
Also, I take my lunch break every day to stand outside the Capcom offices and shout, "Bring back Breath of Fire," but they haven't done shit yet.
They did it
best
once.
I
It
got
was a
was
mobile
Street
game,
Fighter
and you didn't
64
want that.
Yeah, no, that wasn't right. I had like
But,
a whole
like-
day where I had a side where like, no, not that.
But, like, this is one of those situations where, like, if I was, like, a person, like, making decisions, as much as I personally would be interested in seeing, like, a game that was a successor to, like, Dino Crisis 2, like, if I was just told, like, make a new Dino Crisis, I'd be like, what the fuck do you want from me? None of these play like each other.
that is accurate. A very terrible survey.
Yeah, like,
Well,
you
just like the
can't...
idea of wanting a new Mega Man game can mean drastically different things.
Yeah, that reminds me of, like, when, like, they first started, like, slowing down vastly on Mega Man games. People were like, when are they going to release a new Mega Man game? It's like, do you want anything in specific, or do you just want to, like, feel like you're not going to die someday?
Well, that's particular.
Like, it was just one of those situations where, like, the people that were, like, really crying out for new Mega Man, and I like Mega Man games, but, like, the people who I saw who were most like, why aren't they releasing new Mega Man games, were just saying, like, I just want a Mega Man game, and it's like, if you don't care what kind of game it is, I think you just want an assurance that your mortality isn't coming to reach you.
Mega Man must live forever.
Mega Man must live forever, and
Robots
so
are
must I.
forever.
I feel like a lot of like nostalgia, and especially in video game nostalgia in general, is just please somebody tell me I'm not going to die in 60 years.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where, like, eventually you just have to accept that, like, things go away, and that's okay.
I was going to say, it's not so much mortality, even though it is related to mortality, but that one exact quote from The Simpsons where it's like, I used to know what it was, but then they changed it. And now what's new is weird and scary.
Now what's it's weird and scary to me.
Like, I want Mega Man because I don't like this here Monster Hunter.
Get with the times, old man.
Catch up.
I do love how it's very easy to tell how well a Capcom game has sold because they have an entire website that's just, here's all of our million-selling games.
How many Breath of Fire games are on there?
All
Not
of them.
a single one. I don't think a single one of them cracked a million.
Yeah, I do have to say,
playing.
particularly with the Marvel collection coming out, it does feel like Nintendo and Capcom are the only ones from the old guard that are like still making games that are like recognizable, so to speak. I mean, I
Still
guess
making
Sega.
games that feel like their old selves.
Yes. Like Sega has equal odds on, like, you know, doing Sonic the Hedgehog as Persona, which is, you know.
That's a
Oh, we
weird
also have
analogy,
sales by series.
but I can't discount it. I can't say no, you're wrong, because I don't think you are.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a thing that happens, and it's like, you know, like it's weird to think of, like, I still think of vaguely as, like, with the Super Monkey Ball game coming out, I still think of that as one of Sega's new franchises.
I'm now looking at total sales for different franchises that Capcom also has listed on their website. Breath of Fire is not even included.
That's just because the last time they brought out a game that was any good, it was the PlayStation 2.
Monster Hunter sitting at number 2 with 100 million sales. Resident Evil sitting at number 1 with 157 million sales.
Okay.
Mega Man sitting like 14 million behind Street Fighter at 41 million, but bearing in mind that that's across like 80 games.
Yeah.
I love that 1942 is listed here. 1.4
like-
million.
It sold a lot of arcade cabinets?
I guess. Commando is also listed here at 1.2 million.
Don't actually know where that that robot head is that I just activated. Anyway, this is the part of the game where I'm supposed to, like, you know, challenge the members of rival gang to rival gang bullshit. But honestly, I just enjoy playing this game. I just enjoy, just sort of running around in the world of the game.
Which is the ideal thing for a video game.
That's so important. I get this. It's the same feeling I get when I play Tears of the Kingdom, which I've been playing on and off for like a year now. I think I'm on my technically third playthrough, but it doesn't matter because I just enjoy running around in that like area, and that's the same feeling I get from this game. It's so important and so stupid. But
yeah, I've called it the joy of movement before, but it's like the number one thing I look for in it.
If a game can make it fun to move around, it's already made it much easier to get you on board with any other thing it asks you to do.
Oh
yes.
So, Goggles, I've taken the liberty of checking across all of Capcom's 120 plus 1 million or more selling titles. No Breath of Fire game has ever sold that much.
What do they list? Which Breath of Fire game was the most successful?
No, because they only list things that sold at least 1 million copies.
I demand to know that since 1992...
Gogglebomb, I don't think you're going to get the validation you crave here.
I need to know which Breath of Fire was the most popular, so that way when they release Breath of Fire 6...
My dude,
I'm just happy to see that Great Ace Attorney Chronicles managed to crest 1 million.
Oh, that's cool.
There we go.
I was actually thinking about that the other day because a friend of mine was bringing up the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, or however you pronounce that.
Haruhi Suzumiya?
Yes, which was a huge thing in its time, and I feel like it's kind of faded into the background of existence.
I mean, like, it apparently had one kind of cute twist, but who cares?
But it had a second season that absolutely obliterated any goodwill anyone had for it.
Really?
I appreciate
was not even aware of
for
that.
existing. Yeah, that second season is like avant-garde art. Because it is 12 episodes and 8 of them are the same episode over and over again.
Really?
With extremely minor variations, but enough of a variation that you think you should be watching.
They were all, like, they had to reanimate them all. They revoiced them all. They are all exactly the same.
That's, I mean, like, on some weird level, I respect that. But, like,
it's not
really
surprising that it killed all interest, but I love it as, like, avant-garde art.
Okay. I never watched that series. Like, people said, oh, it's great, check it out.
It's okay.
I looked at
You
it and said, oh, yeah, I would fucking hate this.
I mean, it's basically a harem anime, but...
Really?
Thought
it, like, had, just, like, a normal number of characters that, like, had personalities and shit.
It does do that, but they're also definitely, like... And all of these girls would absolutely love this main character.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's definitely 3 girls with personalities that are, like...
Marketable.
This is the sullen one, this is the peppy one, this is,
This is the one that looks like that looks like a puppy that has recently been thrown in a puddle.
Yeah.
So you got
the reason I bring it up...
Kinda.
The reason I bring it up is because I remember when that came out, within my friend group, there was excitement because there's a scene in there where they directly parody Ace Attorney. And it was like, oh my gosh, somebody heard about Ace Attorney.
That's why I knew about the show.
Yeah, it's like, we hit the big time, there's an Ace Attorney parody.
I need to be clear how many times I played through Ace Attorney 1. Because there was a period for like 2 years of my life where if I just didn't have anything else to do, I was just replaying Ace Attorney 1. And I think that the number crested 20. Like,
for anybody who has not played Ace Attorney, this is not a game that has much variation.
There's no variation. It was like rereading a favorite comic over and over.
I mean, I've done that. I get it.
I think we all
Except that this comic takes 20 hours to read.
Well, I mean, Trigun ain't short.
But yeah, I did that. I played through that like 20 times in the space of In the space of about 2 years. It was a weird thing. I don't
I'm
like.
having so much trouble getting this.
High school was a
stupid-
rough time for me.
I'm having so much trouble getting this fucking thing. I'm gonna get it though.
I mean, I've seen Ace Attorney. I like Ace Attorney.
Ace Attorney is very good. Fanboy can tell
first-
you much more about it though.
So it's way too much. I purchased the
Got it.
Japan-only limited edition of Ace Attorney 4, and muddled through that entire game in Japanese. That was very difficult. That was a lot of trial and error. Those are some really, really weird kanji you don't normally learn. Words like fucking forensic investigation or dead body. Or
Yeah, those I
should say
can't
murder
imagine those
victim.
show up like on show up on like fucking Rosetta Stone.
Your basic, your basic Japanese courses are not super interested in them. But I got through it. I did finish that fucking game. That's probably at least part of why it's still kind of my favorite. But yeah, and then I was like, oh, that worked out well. I really enjoyed that. I will get the limited edition of this new spin-off, Gyakuten Kenji, known in America as Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth. And then I didn't care very much for. I did not even care to even attempt to play the second one that we didn't get in English.
I hear it's pretty good.
Yeah, the second one's really good, but I was burned so hard by the first one, which is, like, if it weren't for the existence of Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney, it would be the worst game in the series. Because of the existence of Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney, it's like the third worst in the series, where the first worst is Layton versus Ace Attorney, and the second worst is, like, I don't know, just the concept of having to play Layton versus Ace Attorney again.
Tell us about the magic.
I'm still so mad. I think I ranted about this last week. If it wasn't to you, it was to someone else.
It wasn't to me, but I believe I was No, it was one of the Metroid streams where we basically just got on that for like a half hour. The
Yeah,
Grand
because
Inquisitor.
I can complain about that game for so long.
Is Angelin? You're welcome.
Yo.
Oh,
They call me
God.
the Flesh
It's the
Prince.
Flesh Prince.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Why does he have so many freckles?
What?
That is a lot of
Nothing wrong with
freckles, yeah.
having freckles. Fuck you.
He gets a lot of sun, I guess.
Yeah, he's a sunny boy.
A Florida boy.
Or in rare cases, when they've lost their mind.
He looks like Archie Andrews'
very.
evil twin.
Very, very subtle there, Flesh Prince.
This evil twin of Archie Andrews
Red,
allied
so are
with the
you like
Punisher.
my dad? Such a perfect diss.
I mean, they're both redheads.
Uh,
I'm hilarious.
Well done. I appreciate that because his name is Red.
And this was Brakeman mentioned a while ago in regards to Dreamcast connectivity. KOF R2 connected to KOF 99, actually 98. Oh god, yeah, that was that fucking stupid fucking thing. I will explain later. SNK versus Capcom connects to Capcom versus SNK, etc. I have all these games, but not the Dreamcast to NGPC cable. That's a shame. But yeah, in their infinite wisdom, SNK ported KOF 98 to the Dreamcast, but didn't want it to seem like it was out of date, so they called it KOF 99. Then they ported KOF 99 to the Dreamcast and called it KOF 99 Evolution.
That rules actually.
I mean, I
Let's see
will
if I can
say
get
that
another one of these.
I don't know if that's what killed
One.
the King of Fighters
6.
yearly gaming convention, but just I did enjoy that for a little bit of time. There was a fighting game that you could just easily figure out which one was the latest by, what year it is.
Yeah, what killed it was I think them just realizing that it was no longer feasible to just release one a year.
Well, and also I think it was a matter of they started diluting the thing with maximum impact and stuff. And
Oh yeah, not the bastards of the earth that would sell you a game called King of Fighters 2006, and it's secretly KOF Maximum Impact 2. Like, I cannot imagine feeling more betrayed by purchasing.
I was about to say, I feel like that is more or less what caused problems. That they literally killed their own brand in multiple ways.
King of Fighters Maximum Impact is not good, and they knew that enough to understand that anyone who had played Maximum Impact was not going to buy a Maximum Impact 2. But not enough to let that prevent them from making or attempting to sell a Maximum Impact 2. And so just called it King of Fighters 2006. As though that were acceptable.
It's canon now.
I would rather play Neowave, EX2 Howling Blood.
Oh god.
That one I think that might be the one that's on the N-Gage.
Yeah, when are we gonna stream some Endgame games?
You motherfucker, you find a fucking way to play it, to emulate an N-Gage.
Yo, they dumped the entire, apparently pretty close to complete Symphony of the Night N-Gage. Wait, no, it wasn't N-Gage, it was Tiger.
You're thinking of the Gamecom game.
Gamecom, yeah, that's so much better than N-Gage.
Gamecom active.
Oh please, let's not start another Gamecom Engage debate. You know how those get heated.
I was not aware that such a debate existed.
It doesn't, that's the joke.
That was the joke.
Gamecom active. Like for the N-Gage for its part having no cartridge slots, and the Gamecom inexplicably having 2.
Beautiful.
I got visual.
Okay,
I love
bring this
how their police department has like fucking helicopters and stuff all to like kill graffiti kids. It's very
like
Jet Set
that's just
Radio.
America, and that's just America in 2035.
I mean, yeah. Also, Japan and where this game is set, the Netherlands. No, seriously, that's the setting. We are in New Amsterdam.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Right.
I mean, even New York was once New Amsterdam.
Yeah, like so. There's some
Why did
ambiguity
they
there.
change it?
Team Reptile is apparently Team Reptile
like
is apparently
better that
based in the
way.
Netherlands, so that's why they did that.
Yeah, no, I don't blame them.
Oh, it's cool as hell.
Me and Bob just did the entire routine.
Yeah.
I had to get that out of the system.
I heard it.
better that way.
So,
I
I'm playing and drop it in the background.
Constantinople.
Istanbul, Constantinople, Istanbul, Constantinople. Long time gone.
I wonder if, like, once a year They Might Be Giants still sends a thank you note to, like, tiny dudes.
I saw They Might Be Giants live
made
at
out
the
to
very
Buster Bunny.
last Nerdapalooza.
Wow.
And that's the
They don't
reason it
seem
was
like a
the
big
very
band.
last Nerdapalooza. They literally bankrupted it.
Too expensive.
Yeah. Turns out that a bunch of like nerdcore rappers who are just happy to be there, and an actual major touring group cost quite a bit of different amounts.
My They Might Be Giants story is always... one time I was dealing with some people at an office that, like, I've been, like, doing work at their office for a while, so they, like, know who I am. And the one, like, receptionist looks at me, and she's around my age, like, I don't know, maybe a little older, maybe a little younger. But she looks at me and says, "You'd probably have a problem with this." And I'm like, what? Like, it was a very weird way to start a conversation. Like, I went to a They Might Be Giants concert, and all they did was, like, children's songs. And
But
I'm
They
like,
Might Be Giants. All their songs are
I'm like-
children's songs.
I'm like, oh yeah,
No, they very specifically have children's albums.
And I said to him, like, oh yeah, I think they did like a children's album. I guess like the concert you went to was one of their ones that like deliberately like they're doing that. And she's like, well, they didn't do anything to advertise that. And I'm like, okay. Like, I guess she wanted to speak to like the manager of Nerds. Like,
Speak to the nerd manager. I mean, well, if anybody in this group is the nerd manager, Goggle Bob, you're on the list.
I would obviously have their number, obviously.
Because it's my number.
Yeah, I was about to say the call's coming from inside the house. Wait a minute, let me get him. He's on the other line. Hello?
Goggle Bob, I'll be expecting some thorough explanations on your performance review.
So, two things. One, a cab, and two, that lady cop who just blasted off like Team Rocket is, in fact, the one good cop because she stops being a cop by the end of the game.
Yay.
That is
The
the
only way you can get
only way
there.
to be.
Yeah.
Prince Hordkin said, "Was the audience full of little kids and their parents?"
I mean, that's probably exactly what happened. Like, that was
what
probably
really
the tip-off for them. Because, I mean, I will be honest, I like They Might Be Giants, but I'm not 100% certain if you told me I was listening to one of their children's songs or one of their quote-unquote adult songs, I would immediately understand that there was a difference.
I would.
Lady. Same.
I was going to say I can pull out one that probably isn't one of their children's songs.
I need to point out something in the game again. Anytime, like, any skate/graffiti crew gets mad at each other, these three gentlemen show up to act as the judges.
The old
Wow.
head.
The old heads.
When-
Also,
when I
their
think
belts
of-
say boom back, classic, and old school.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yes, one of them is a robot.
When I think of They Might Be Giants songs that probably aren't their children's songs, I think of Bastard Wants to Hit Me.
Yeah, that's probably it.
I mean, if you just change it to Bastich, you can get away with it.
I don't actually know that much about They Might Be Giants. I just have a friend who's into
There's some
them.
pretty good albums. That's
I
all
mean,
you need
they-
to know. There's some pretty good albums.
I mean, complete with the concept of dial-a-song that they had back in the day, they have put out like 12 billion songs over the years, and
Wow.
they haven't
Definitely
generally
a mild
good hits.
exaggeration.
That too.
I like Factory Showroom. That's my biggest take.
Yes. Well, severe tire damage for me.
Good choice.
I haven't listened to enough to have a favorite, but I will say it's absolutely one of those bands that I don't think that I've ever heard anything that would sound immediately depressing music-wise. Like everything is very upbeat sounding that I've heard.
Even when they're unhappy, they don't usually sound it.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah, that's
When
me
you
saying
said
yeah,
that,
that's a fair
I
read.
immediately wanted to say they're ska coded.
Nice God,
Yeah.
Earth.
I mean, there's Dr. Worm. I mean, that is basically
Morning,
ska.
how are you? I'm Dr. Worm.
I'm interested.
I'm not a real doctor.
but I am a real worm. Yeah, I know that one.
I am an actual worm.
I live like a worm. Like to play the drum. I think I'm getting good, but I can handle criticism.
But yeah, they are definitely a band that at least at one point toured with a brass section. So
I love brass sections in general.
I was about to say there's ska blood in there.
I think a lot about how one of my favorite recurring bits that happens at any Real Big Fish concert is that whenever they're like at the end of the show, they get ready to play Sellout because that is the thing that is most likely going to be remembered. And they're like, okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna play our hit, and then they go through just a whatever medley of 90s hits they feel like doing that night. And then when they get bored of the routine, they say, okay, we don't actually have a hit, but this did pretty well for us. And play Sell Out to close out this show.
I mean, as appropriate.
Yeah. I think I probably still have a picture of what the set list was when I saw them in 2019. That was a good time to be going to see a concert.
That was a good time. In many ways, the last time.
I was about to say,
It was very good that I did it then, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I think I've been to some outdoor concerts. That's a trouble.
That's a good way of doing things.
We do have some good outdoor venues in here.
Nice. Bienvenue. That's a lot of hair.
DJ Cyber.
Hey, buddy.
I love every character in this game. They are all just so cool.
I'm trying to think of DJ Cyber reminds me of some character from something. Can't put my finger on it.
Character from something.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it might be a video game, it might be an anime. We're pretty much like it's something in the universe that has existed within the last 40 years.
The face mask reminds me of the giant robot thing that was trying to escape from the planet in one of those Marvel movies.
He reminds me of it. The fucking like dead monster in Eva.
I was about to say, yeah, when Steph started or Cass started saying about the Marvel thing, I started thinking, oh yeah, from Ava.
A Marvel thing from Ava.
It's like, I don't know, robots. They connected my brain.
Robots.
Makes me think of Ultra Kill.
I haven't seen enough Ultra Kill to say for sure, but I can understand.
Yeah, it's got Ava eyeballs, but it needs some of those atom thick thighs.
I think it does. And yeah, as Prince Horkin says, they first saw.
Also, check
they
this
might be
shit
giant
out.
on
This shit
Tiny
is
Toons.
gorgeous.
Robots be dreaming.
I love it when video games get super fucking weird.
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Boy.
Those do.
It's just gonna
Look at
turn out
this
to be
shit.
shit.
Look at this shit. This is awesome.
Yeah, somebody was having fun.
Oh, hey, Robot on Coffee.
Oh shit, Robot on
Who
Coffee's
says-
here?
Yeah, who says, don't lose your head beat.
Too late.
Great minds. I just find if I'm ever in a dreamscape of my mind's own creation, I'm gonna do sick kick flips.
Oh hell yeah.
Sometimes known as sick
Gotta
flip.
get those score multipliers.
I'm gonna say something about that. Oh yeah, I'm now thinking about the weirder versions of some of the tracks that showed up in Jet Set Radio and Future, like the Ollie King version of Concept of Love.
Fuck yeah.
Everyone remembers and played Ollie King in the arcade, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't we?
Good
We're
luck.
going to have to explain to our youngest member what an arcade was. I'm sorry. See, there used to be these big cabinet-y looking things that you could play video games on for a whole quarter.
That might be the first time I've heard Chromes go ballistic.
It's all downhill from here, Chromes.
This is
Why
why
is
we've
there
only
no
got
ground in this level?
Yeah.
Understand.
Why is the ground not ground-like?
Why would it be ground like?
The concept of love. Huh.
Now, see, we didn't have these fancy microtransactions of today, but for a whole quarter, you could play as a Ninja Turtle for upwards of 2 minutes.
Upwards. Oh,
The
shit,
2 best
we're-
minutes of your life to that point.
Were
Gravity!
were the quarters microtransactions? Holy shit!
Buddy, let me tell.
I never
tell
thought
you
about it
Double
that
Dra-
way. I
Let me
hate
tell you
this.
about
Inflation
Double
is
Dragon
real.
3.
God.
God.
I wrote an entire
So-
article about Double Dragon 3 and how, yes, the world, they've always been trying to figure out ways to fleece you.
Yeah, for those unaware, Double Dragon 3 was a beat 'em up where when you put in your quarter, you've got a life, and then if you wanted anything else, power-ups, additional characters, additional lives, whatever, you had to go into an in-game shop and put in however many quarters it was set to take.
That is so fucked up. Amazing.
And I will point out that this game was heavily weighted against your favor, so as
It
to
was
encourage
hard for the time.
And I will point out, I never get tired of noticing this, or noting this when it comes up. On the rare replay disc that came out, that had all the, like, NES era rare games, and, like, well, NES 3 and 64.
fuck.
Yeah, actually,
Shit.
ZX Spectrum through
I can't believe I
N64.
fucked that up.
Excuse
That's
me.
embarrassing.
But they had an interview with the
All the way
Battletoads
back
guys,
here? Really? Fucking heck.
and they get really excited, pointing out the fact that they figured out that they could make one of the bosses invincible for just 30 seconds at the beginning of the fight. And if you
Evil.
died during that time, you had to put in another quarter. And they're like surprised that nobody ever thought just to make bosses completely impossible to beat for a limited period of time where, you know, you just have to put in more money.
I mean, that's like...
They're really proud of that innovation.
That feels so wrong.
I love Battletoads Arcade, but that is pretty evil.
Yeah, no, it's the like they literally showed on the screen while they're doing the interview. Like, oh, this guy here, he's invincible.
Yeah, those interviews are great because they're just full of people being extraordinarily candid. My personal favorite being the guy who directed like Conker's Bad Fur Day, being like, "Man, I couldn't make this again. Like, it's the kind of thing you only make in your 20s."
Yeah. You know, those are some of my favorite video game interviews, just because there's this. I don't even know how to put it. There's just a permeating feeling of everyone has lost their job, so you don't care what they say. Like, it's just like, oh, I'll never do this again. So just letting you know. Like, arcades don't exist anymore, so I can tell you that this was a trick.
Yeah, you can read some interesting old like interviews in Japanese magazines that are just them talking about like, yeah, like R-Type spikes difficulties on certain stages in order to make sure that like, oh, this the player's probably been playing for about 5-6 minutes. It's about time that they put in more money to make sure the arcade operator's happy.
I've played on an arcade machine thing before, an arcade cabinet.
I'm glad for that. There's something tactilely physical in them. That's fun.
What was the circumstance? Was like there one like in the lobby of like a convenience store or something?
There's like a movie theater, like,
That'll do it.
and
That'll do it.
and it has like this game room, and it has like, you know, it has arcade machines, it has ice hockey, it has like that basketball game.
Oh, yeah,
where
yeah.
you,
Okay.
And so it appears, and yet it moves.
Anyway,
But have you ever-
I had a super... My dude had a super fucked up dream, and it ended with the guy he was before his brains got, like, you know, surgically removed, pushing him off of a cliff. I'm sure that
Wow.
won't come up again.
It's a very normal thing to dream about. I'm not certain what the problem is.
What time is it? How long have I been at this?
You've been at it
no.
for an hour and 4 minutes.
Okay, cool. I'll keep going.
Good.
Radio.
I'll be right back.
All good?
I wonder how long it took him to settle on that as a name for the
What? Which one?
DJ Cyber.
DJ Cyber? I'm sure that
I mean,
took
like,
him,
it
a
sounds like it
minute.
could be from literally anything. Dare I say it, cyberpunk.
Cyber. Funk.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, see, this whole sequence here is great with, like, them dancing and everything, but, like, this should have been a DJ Professor K bit.
It is just exposition.
Yeah, like, yeah, but DJ Professor K made exposition awesome.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
didn't even know it was
the-
happening because
Yeah.
it was cool.
He
Like-
had a way of hyping things up.
Yeah, like every video game, I think, deserves a hype man of his caliber.
Yeah, that is just an entire gang of like people with huge asses.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
I wasn't saying it's bad. I was just saying it was noticeable.
That's how I
Just-
describe our streaming group to other people.
What were you saying, Gus?
The giant pants and the skinny waist and top is just like, that is the aesthetic I aimed for in those years.
Good news. These years are exactly 2000, because that's when this game is. That's what this game aspires
no,
to.
I know.
Now, as far as my own aesthetic, if you look in the background, you will see a sign that says Taco Parade sometimes. That was the aesthetic I was going for.
I just wore t-shirts and cargo shorts, and I still wear exactly that. I'm wearing it right now. Fashion
wish they made
fashion is folly. I've got that shit figured out. I got it on lockdown.
Speaking of genuinely nightmarish aesthetics, I'm currently obsessed with this hellish drill tweet.
Oh.
The year is 1992. There is no school tomorrow, and your mom made pizza rolls. You have been staring at a picture of Cat Dog for 19 hours straight.
That one's great.
I don't think Cat Dog existed yet in 1992.
It did not. That's what makes it mysterious.
That's where Cat Dog came from. You willed it into existence.
Please be safe, all. There's a guy on here telling girls he has a hot tub, but it's just a normal bathtub filled with hot water.
Is that not a hot tub? Or at the very
Well, that
least
is
they
only a hot
warm
tub
it.
by technicality. How the fuck it... Like,
They're supposed to be impressed, but
Your objection is noted, Lieutenant, but also fuck you.
I see. Did New Amsterdam ever react to this?
What?
why would they?
Being featured in Bomb Rush.
I think
They should have made the game's release a national holiday.
Yeah.
Glad that I now have one more joke to make at the expense of Dr. Disrespect, other than the incredible YouTube compilations of him, like trying to seem like he's like less pathetic than the person who kept killing him in Fortnite while having the name Dr. Cheats on Way.
I think the joke you already made today, which was certified disrespect, certified pedophiles, is good enough. Oh wait, are we not allowed to say that? Are we gonna get fucking demonetized? I don't give a shit. I was watching a fucking the needle drop video on the Drake Kendrick beef, and he used PDF files, and I'm like, man, you're better than that. Fuck you. I'm offended. I refuse to learn TikTokese.
Talkies.
Oh, is that a... I never realized
It's,
until now.
There's all sorts of like folk concepts about what prevents you from being demonetized on places like TikTok.
And to call it folk is really the only way to discuss it, because like there is very little like tangible evidence for any of it.
Yeah, no one who actually has control of these sorts of algorithms is willing to tell you what causes like automatic demonetization. So people just kind of make guesses.
Yeah.
They be better safe than sorry about a lot of stuff.
They don't want their
Yeah.
income stream to be unalived.
I hate that word so much.
Same.
It's very bad.
I think one of the better things I've written on Twitter, and I've written a lot of stupid shit on Twitter, was I was discussing the concept of like letting like algorithms of when it's time to change the way you speak language-wise, and it's like if you tell me a term is super outdated and kind of hurtful, I will absolutely change the way I.
If a robot
use
tells
it.
me it, the robot.
If a
can fuck up.
robot like says, if you use this word, if you use this very basic part of language, I will take away your likes. Fuck you! I lived without likes for years. I can do it
I've
again.
never been liked.
idea that you can't make reference to something that is as absolutely human as death. Like, it is such a weird. The first thought I have is like Disneyfication of things. We're living in the goddamn Lion King, where you can't acknowledge what the hell happened.
Everything has to be a place where Disney would be fine selling a new like fucking Frozen Go-Gurt on.
Frozen Go-Gurt.
It's a goddamn
Holy
shame that our society is steered by Go-Gurt.
I wanted to think of the least dignified product, and I think I found it.
Oh no, you did, and you kind of killed it, honestly.
No, he unalived it.
God fucking damn you.
He's gonna bully you even harder this week.
Yeah, no, like to call it bullying feels like it would be.
It will now be
understatement.
war.
Yeah. All right. What's this? Secret area.
I've never even heard of that doctor, whatever his name is.
I was aware of him.
He was kind of a big deal about 7 or 8 years ago.
Oh.
I love that. Like, there's just this random NPC dude in this secret area.
He lives here.
Great. Yeah, I know. He's like, get out of my house.
You kind of got a hoagie for an arm?
Just barges into your house, draw something.
Does it matter what order you connect the points in?
Oh, sorry.
It
What?
just determines what. Keith was asking if it matters what order you connect the points in.
Yeah,
it determines what the tag is, but the tag doesn't do anything. It's just aesthetic.
Yeah. If you use the same tag like a ton of times in a row, like if you're doing like a score challenge, it will give you like less points for like the 4th and 5th time you use it. So like, you know, it's good to mix it up, but like it doesn't really matter. Like if you just
for the most
run
part,
around,
it's aesthetic.
If you just run around like what I'm doing right now, where I'm just like, you know, tagging everything just for funsies before going out to the next mission, then yeah, it doesn't matter in the slightest.
For your rep.
If you have a preferred tag, just use your preferred tag.
Yeah. There are a couple I really like. I'll probably have re-memorized them by the end of this series. And this will be a series. I'm not beating this game today.
There's actually a fair bit of game here.
Yeah, this game's actually got quite a bit going on.
It's a good game, so.
I mean, I'm
Keep it
already
up.
skateboarding, so yes.
You want to switch from skateboarding to skateboarding.
Well, this is also how you change like your deck.
Your deck.
But like, I only got the one right now, so you know, not a big deal. All right, here we go. Hey.
The thought did occur to me, a horrible thought this morning when I was humming Not Like Us. I was thinking, oh, there are definitely people in this song's target audience who do not remember when the phrase "I see dead people" was like just a stock meme.
Yeah.
God. Do you ever have that nightmare where you're back in the 90s and you can't communicate with someone?
Oh, okay. I gotta.
They're only quoting Austin Powers over and over again at you, and you no longer speak that language.
The nation's unfunny uncles have been starving since the release of Borat. There's nothing for them to move to.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite dumb things. You can take little stupid cell phone cameras. They are all taken from the perspective of the actual cell phone on the character model, and
That is.
you can swap it around to take selfies.
Yay!
I love it.
Okay, yeah, this is definitely something that. This is what modern technology has given us. Like we're looking at Dreamcast graphics, but this.
Yeah, no, this is
This is
special. Like
something-
there are
technology
things that like
in its
they
face.
did not touch, rightfully so, And there are things that they absolutely needed to put in the game. That's one of them. Oh, wait. I am, okay, so I do need to go to Millennium Square because that's the next big area. But if I can remember how to get there, maybe I can show off a dumb secret. Where'd my homies go? Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Also, I think the environments in this game are way bigger than would have been than the Dreamcast would have allowed, so that's cool too.
Yeah, I do feel like environment size is one thing you absolutely take for granted when you're playing a quote-unquote modern game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, oh yeah, no, like in the original Dreamcast, you remember it being bigger than it is, but like Central Square is like 2 feet wide.
I think you mean to say Station Square, you fucking poser.
My bad.
Oh, okay, alright. Maybe I've gotten enough rep here to do this. Good.
New area? Oh.
Yep, okay, cool. Alright, let's show this off.
Yay!
This is basically just a mall area. Not much to do here other than, like, you know, tag everything, get, like, a ridiculously high area score.
Isn't that what you do in this section?
That's what you do in this game. That's what the game. That's what you do in this game. But
There's nothing to do in this Mega Man level other than fight this robot, you know.
yeah, exactly. But there's also something very stupid that's very cool, and I'm gonna try and reach it. I won't spend too much time on it because you know it's not.
Why is there a giant snake?
Okay, let's see here.
Okay, better question. Why are there 2 giant snakes?
Why wouldn't there be 2 giant snakes? How do I get there? Can I do it?
I like if there's no fall damage.
Oh yeah, no, there's no fall damage. This game's very, like, forgiving, like, in terms of, like... This is a game that wants you to just, you know, fuck around and explore stuff.
What are you afraid? He's going to, like, suffer a concussion?
I mean, it's not like he's wearing a helmet either.
Technically, kinda is.
I
That's a
mean,
spoiler.
he wasn't before.
Yeah, you saw what happened when he wasn't wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have saved him. There is no amount of helmet that would have protected his neck in that capacity.
Isn't Protect Your Neck a Wu-Tang track? Pretty sure. I need to listen to more Wu.
I am not an expert on this particular subject.
Yeah, I'll show off the secret area. Because that actually wasn't the secret area. That is an area that is kind of secret, but it's not the secret area. But I've forgotten, like, the series of steps I need to get there, so I will show that off next stream. And y'all just have to deal with it.
I have forgotten how to do this.
I haven't played this game, like, every week.
Next, we're going to stream 17 weeks of Tears of the Kingdom.
I mean, like, if I did the Tears of the Kingdom stream, yeah, that would be the case. I would be like, I could just go off to the next boss, but I'm not gonna. Fuck you. If
memory serves, Kishi did a series of streams of that. Do we know how long that took them?
I think it took them, like...
A very long time.
The better part of a month. More than a month, actually. I think it took them 2 months. I remember jumping on one of their streams. They had a very strict no spoilers policy, which I absolutely respected. But I did get them... get them to realize that the depths were an inverted Hyrule map, which is cool.
You didn't get them to understand. I picture you being in the chat being like, boy, it sure seems like under this lake everything's really tall. Wonder what's up with that. Could mean anything.
They basically were just flipping between maps, and I said, oh, hey, check it out. The lakes match the impassable walls, and they were like, "Oh wow, neat! Hadn't noticed." Everything else is also inverted though, like mountains become valleys. All the light routes are located where shrines are with reverse names, that sort of thing. Also, check it out.
Yeah.
I'm the coolest motherfucker alive.
Taco Parade. Yeah, I don't know if there have been any interviews or whatever, but my theory is still that the underground of Tears of the Kingdom was originally intended to be a straight up dark world that they then adapted to be physically underground. It really would fit with the Zelda aesthetics to have a literally geographically reversed area that another mentioned.
I mean, it kind of like is like it's the fact that like it's not referred to as such doesn't necessarily mean that it's like not that.
But you don't get through a magic mirror.
I mean, I guess.
An important part of any dark world.
Wow. That one is new.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool.
Got 2-star heat.
What is gravity? What are
So
I wouldn't
fit into your
worry about
imagination.
Oh shit.
I mean, I know Minecraft physics is pretty bad, but this is
Hey,
ridiculous.
Callie.
Hey, Callie, how you doing?
Good
Hey,
day.
Callie. Alright. How's everybody?
Doing good.
Okay. How's the
Good.
burrito from the chicken and burrito place?
Nice. It is warming up right now. It is warming up right now.
Fingers crossed.
Is the place called Chicken and Burrito Place?
I really hope so.
No, it is not.
Damn it!
It is not.
That would have been so perfect.
Chicken and
What if-
burrito.
It's like what is your what is your restaurant called? Chicken and Burrito Place.
I mean,
It's like
We
why
mostly
why
serve
would
desserts.
I would never lose track of what it was called.
never? And it would bespeak a certain kind of this was founded by immigrants who knew 6, maybe 7 words of English. Which
And
I
guess
think
what? They knew way back. They somehow also knew how to make the best fucking food you'd ever had.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, you don't understand. I fled political persecution on the back of my ability to cook grilled chicken.
Like, do you realize how good grilled chicken has to be to get you that far in the world?
Yeah, exactly. There are men who cooked. There are men who cooked grilled chicken marginally less well than me. They are all dead now. But I stand before you. Like, God damn.
I am a man who has not left with him but survivor's guilt and grilled chicken.
Yeah, exactly. When my children write their memoirs, they will speak of a pungent air of chicken grease and sorrow, but mostly chicken grease. It's like, so what was your father like? Did you eat my father's burrito? Yes, many times. Then you knew my father.
You knew as much of my father as ever he cared for someone to know.
Yeah, as much of him as there was to know.
There's a restaurant near me that's just called Chicken and Waffles.
That's pretty
That's
common.
a great
actually.
name.
You owe it to
Chicken and
yourself.
waffles is a good combo.
Yeah, no, it's
Go for it.
fantastic. I love it.
Does what it says on the label.
So I've entered an interesting if brief period of my life. My wife is on a 2-week vacation to Italy with her mother.
Oh wow.
So I am solo parenting for the next 2
yeah.
weeks. Our babysitter, who had signed on to cover the hours between 1 and 5 for the next 2 weeks, canceled. Not at the last minute, but actually shortly after the last minute. Like at the period when you would expect her to be on the way to the car. On the way to the house. She was like, I am sorry, I can no longer babysit for you. And so we're coping with that. But I told you that story so I can tell you this one. The city has opened a brand spanking new public pool. Brand spanking new public pool. And this year, this year there's been some back and forth in my family as to whether we would continue our membership at like the local club pool. We live like 5 minutes from a community center that has a private pool. You pay like $800 I think it is for the summer, and you can use it from Memorial Day to Labor Day. We've had this for years running now, but not this year. Not this year for a variety of reasons. One of which is there's this brand spanking new pool that's going to open up.
Nice.
Paid for with like
Wait,
national.
I think I know where this is going.
National recovery dollars, like COVID recovery dollars. It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous pool. So it opens 3 days ago. It opens on Saturday. Wife takes the kids. And day one of operation, the pool is closed. They don't have enough lifeguards. The pool is closed. They wait in line endlessly, surrounded by surly teenagers. Just insulting each other with the most vicious language you can imagine.
As teenagers tend to do.
New and horrifying slur technology being developed as we speak in this pool.
Exactly. So the next day we go out, and this is the combination. It is the combination actual opening of the pool and the City Juneteenth Festival, all happening in the same park complex. Thousands upon thousands of people, descending into this area, and go in, go to the pool. We go through the line actually fairly quickly, and then right in front of us, the lifeguard at the entry gate pulls the gate closed in front of us, saying, "I'm sorry, the pool is closed because someone has shit in it."
Almost immediately.
Almost immediately. The pool is open, people march in, and someone just immediately shits in the pool.
Like, someone was like, I have been waiting for this moment, and immediately, befouled the pool and ruined it forever.
So they shut it down, they clean it out, and you have to wait an hour for the I have to imagine utterly heroic filtration and sanitation system to filter out this man's horrific colon bacteria. So we go in and we get, God love it, we get 2 good hours in the pool, and it is soul restoring. I actually come away from it with a new respect and affection for my fellow man. So I'm like, fuck it, it's my first day solo parenting. I've got the next 4 days off.
And now I must shit in the pool.
4 days off from work. I'm going to go to the pool. We go in. We wait in line for the pool for a good while because the pool is at capacity. And then we go in. We get everything going. We get in the pool. We're splashing around. I'm swimming. My kids are swimming. My kids are learning to swim. It's like, oh, this is great. We're going to be in the pool for hours to come. And then the big whistle goes out. Everybody out of the pool. Everybody out. This time it's not shit. Someone is bleeding. Someone is bleeding heavily into the pool.
No.
Like,
And I know
all
this.
forms of bodily fluid have now entered this pool.
Yeah.
I noticed this because as I'm walking around, there is a man holding his flayed open foot in front of a semi-circle, just utterly mystified
Terrifying.
lifeguard who are sprinkling it with some sort of blood loss stopping powder, and then just some defeated looking guy
Just some
scrubbing
gravel.
the bloodied concrete with a push broom and a bunch of soap. And again, the pool is shut down for an hour so it can be filtered.
Obviously.
So we wait for an hour at the splash pad. My kids are playing. I'm having a delightful conversation with a woman who removed her child from public school so she would not be vaccinated.
Oh, my.
And she's like, I'm sorry. Did you feel? I'm sorry. Did you feel insulted by my conversation? I did not mean to offend you. I'm like, you can't offend me. Nothing can offend me right now. But then they reopen the pool, and we wait in line for 25, 30 minutes to get into the pool. And we put our stuff in, and we're back in the pool. And okay, the pool is going to close in 50 minutes, but we're going to get 50 solid minutes of pool time in, and then me and the kids are going to go home, and we'll have a good evening. And then they blow the whistles again.
I'm sorry, someone has jacked off into the pool.
God, that would be so
You gotta
much
go
better.
for the trio.
No, they are pulling the insensate, unresponsive body of a man from the pool as
Oh Lord, horrifying.
because he jumped headfirst from the side of the pool into the shallow end, smashing his head on the bottom.
Oh God,
And going
that's
into,
so
going
horrible.
into massive seizures.
Oh
There have
no.
to be signs to not do that.
And this was on the first day?
This is not all on the first day. This was over. This is the first 72 hours of this pool's operation.
Okay, the first week. Okay, not better. But it's all in one
This
day.
is all on one day.
This right here has happened in one day, and my daughter, like, I'm telling my children, okay, someone's been hurt, and we have to get out of the pool so they can come in and help this person. It's like, okay, and you know we're getting dressed, and then like I suddenly noticed something. And what I notice is that there's some teenagers by me, and they're getting dressed, and they're speaking as teenagers do, and they're trying to figure out what to do next. But like, there's this smell. Okay, there's this smell. One of these guys is putting on his clothing, and every time he shakes his clothing, this fresh wave of this stink hits me. And I mean this as literally as I can. I believe that the majority of the turds that I have shit from my body in this lifetime smell better than this young man's clothing. You could pick a poop of mine at random. I would put it up against this guy's.
Terrifying.
Now, there are two possibilities here. One is that this young man lives in horrifying conditions that mean that he must wear clothing that smells worse than whiskey diarrhea, and that would be an injustice. That's the kind of thing that cries out to God for vengeance, right? And I say, okay, like if this man lives this young man is living a life where this entire hygienic situation is involuntary. Like, God help you. Like, I don't know how to help you, but like, God help you. Some cosmic force.
You must for any hope for smell salvation, you must turn to Rome.
Yeah, exactly. You must. Yeah, exactly. Repent and submit to Rome. This is the first step towards ridding your life of this stench. However, if this smell was chosen, if this smell was not thrust upon him, but rather cultivated, I don't know what to think. So that was my afternoon.
Didn't make any observations to that note.
What's that? No,
His
my
friends
son.
didn't-
My son then walked up. My 4-year-old son. My 4-year-old son, who has mild to moderate autism, walked up to him and proceeded to slap him on the butt and demand to know why he's still stinky.
I respect him. Straight shooter.
Some might say that was the social faux pas. I say your son was doing God's work.
Did you get a
respect
response?
him. In the right circumstances, people will just say, "Oh, he's a straight shooter."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was about
He's
to
like-
say, like, this is like, in 30 years he'll be a politician, and they'll be like, he just says what everybody's thinking.
To be fair, everyone is thinking,
No.
"Why are you so stinky, kid?"
my at the splash pad while we were waiting for the pool to reopen, my son browbeat a stranger into buying him ice cream. Someone he's never met before.
I mean, that's a damn
Wild.
special
Never laid
skill,
eyes on him
honestly.
in his life. My son walks up to me. He is holding a wrapped snow cone with a little bubble gum, like on top, like a cherry. I'm like, "Where'd you get that?" "Oh, that girl, mom bought it for me."
Wow.
Amazing.
What the fuck is going on here? Next thing I know, he's chasing like a young sorority girl type mom across the splash pad, shooting a water gun at her. And I'm like, what?
I mean,
People just got
honestly,
charisma.
it sounds like he's got it worked out.
He's got this. He's like, the world is not ready for you, young man. So yeah, he walks up to this kid. He like kind of He didn't slap his butt. He just kind of like shoved his butt with his hand. Like, you stinky. Is you crying?
Nah. Look, he knows where smells come from. He had to identify the area.
But it just,
I assume no answer was given.
No. A lot of confused young teenage men demanding to know what the fuck this kid is thinking. My son reacted to this by like crawling up the dividing the dividing fence, the poolside dividing fence, kind of like Donkey Kong. completely unresponsive to their line of questioning. So I just put my children in the car and drove to the nearest McDonald's play place I could think of. I'm just like
somehow less shit there.
Exactly. I'm just going to apply chicken nuggets to this situation and wait until it improves.
Sometimes it's the only thing you can do.
Anyway, thank you for indulging. Thank you for indulging me in this trip down memory lane. But it's been a hell of an 8 hours here at Ample Vigor House.
AB, where do I subscribe to your podcast?
I guess I know what to expect from my
you're on
baby
the
brother
podcast.
in like a couple of years.
Yeah.
About
No, this is the podcast. Welcome to the cast. Welcome to the pod.
I'm going to very briefly talk about the game just long enough to point out that Beat changed his outfit for Red just to put him in the Beat outfit from Jet Set Radio.
actually, that was to get away from the cops. So I had a reason.
Yes,
for doing
but
it.
but you put him in the Beat outfit from Jet Set Radio.
Obviously. But the other thing I need to point out is this all-girl gang that we're up against right now do not respect men. So when I talked to them with my robot head man, they were just like, fuck off. I had to switch to the female character, and they actually like had a conversation with.
Oh, and that's interesting.
That was definitely them being like, we need to make it clear that you can change characters.
Yeah, that was just like, hey.
What game is this?
This is Bomb Rush Cyberfunk.
Bomb Rush.
It's basically Jet Set Radio 3, so I love it very much.
Oh, nice.
Why does he have
found a
crash
guy in
dummy
the dumpster.
symbols on his shoes?
The crash test dummy parallel was my initial thought.
He's just.
Oh wow, the Bomb Rush Cyberfunk cover is just the Jet Set Radio cover.
Oh yeah,
I respect
absolutely.
that.
They were not
They
here
were
to
not
pretend
subtle.
that they weren't doing this.
They
I would
got
say that-
Hideki Naganuma to make the beats and everything.
Yeah,
It's like
I
I'm
wouldn't
not here to
even-
make friends. I am here.
I wouldn't even describe it as shameless. This was like they were very proud of the choices that they had made, and they were right to be.
Yeah.
Like no one was here pretending that they weren't just trying to make Jet Set Radio.
Like
But
there
they
hadn't
didn't
been a
just
Jet Set
make an
Radio
imitation.
in over 20 years. So you know, somebody.
And they also were trying to evolve Jet Set Radio, and like some of that works and some of it doesn't. But it doesn't feel like we're just imitating a 20-year-old game.
Yeah,
we're
no.
doing other things with it.
Yeah, I love this game. I feel like it's an incredible like evolution of the Jet Set Radio style. So yeah, it rules. It's easily my game of the year last year, and I feel like it must be stated that last year had
Game of the
Mario
year
Wonder
2024.
and Tears of the Kingdom.
And
Baldur's
somehow
Gate
it's
3.
also your game of the year 2024.
Yeah, kind of. Fuck yeah, that's a cool one.
I was moving my laptop at that point, and it was very flashy all of a sudden. I'm like, that's secret.
Time to go back to the hospital.
No. Everybody on the stream staying hydrated.
Yeah, stay hydrated.
Yeah, drink water.
Oh, boy.
So
And now since this is a podcast, we all have to sell mattresses.
I mean, that's given your options for podcasts. That's actually the upper one.
Mattresses? Really?
Like the
What was the one
low
that I thought it was
low
called?
quality option is BetterHelp.
Oh no.
There's also buying car parts on eBay.
I'm still how insane that was. Like Kelly Scrub, every time I'm there, he's listening to like the same, a handful of podcasts, and for some reason, one of them is sponsored by really what can only be described as buying car parts on eBay. I don't even know how you have that as a sponsor. I don't know how that works.
That's great, honestly. Like in the realm of sponsors, it's BetterHelp, it's fucking NordVPN, and that's it. Those are your choices. So the idea that
So did your game crash at all? Was it just OBS?
it was just OBS. Like I played for like a good 20 seconds, thinking, everyone got real quiet, but I didn't like want to call you out on that. Like, what kind of asshole just starts attacking when nobody has anything to say?
I thought you guys were having a conversation, but here we
No,
are.
we were. I mean, like, there was like a lull in the talk, and I just assumed, well, no. I mean, it's getting kind of late. We're all a little bit tired. I'm not gonna be like, hey, keep talking or anything like that. That's just being mean.
I command you all to be entertaining.
Yeah, no.
Sell more mattresses.
Can you guys see it?
It was one of
Is it up? Is it running?
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see it.
It was legitimately one of those minutes I was like, uh-oh, did my internet go, or is it beep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, until Cass said something.
No, it was me.
I just checked there was sound.
Excellent. And there's video too. I mean, that should be
There's
a good
definitely
sign,
video.
You know.
Confirm video at all times.
Oh no, did you have to start all over?
No, just
Nah.
one challenge.
Yeah, the game auto-saves.
Oh, good. I don't know, I just started the other game and it looked like the starting area, so I panicked.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that's by design. This is absolutely like a reference to the area from the start of Jet Set Radio. Some nobody with moderate skill.
Yeah, for giggles, during your downtime, I actually installed it and then started playing it.
Oh, well, I hope you enjoy it. It's one of my favorite games.
Oh yeah, no, I have it on a number of platforms, including apparently Steam. So
Yeah, that's how I
But-
that's how I earned it. Since Dreamcast games aren't exactly common in stores these days.
well, that's what I was gonna say. I originally played it on Dreamcast.
As did
That's
I.
the only reason I know about it.
And I will confirm that this was one of the many Dreamcast games that I think I rented or played a friend's copy, but then eventually it was $10 a KB played. But I was happy to see that.
This
Don't
says
knock
beat a
the
copy of
TV
De La
toys
Jet Set
discount.
Radio.
Dude, I love that Jet Set Radio got a re-release in Japan just so they could have the American glory of Dragula.
Dragula!
I was trying to play Dragula in Vib Ribbon a few weeks ago. That was very hard.
I would say my favorite GDQ moment of all time is when during one of the Jet Set Radio runs, where the speedrunner says, "Okay, now unfortunately, there's a really big RNG moment coming up here. We gotta really hope that we get it, otherwise the entire run's invalid." And then the level starts and Dragula starts playing, and he's like, "Yes, we got it!"
Yeah.
Apparently, there were 619 games released for Dreamcast.
I know, right? It was not with us long,
Well, a
but
lot
it
of
made
them
the
are-
most
there's-
of that time.
I
A
didn't say
lot
they
of them
were.
are also probably like Dojin games.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we're talking.
Yeah, it looks like De La Jet Set Radio. You can get it for like $50. One of these birthdays, I'll get that for you just as a novelty.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Look at this list of Dreamcast games.
The Rumblefish.
Okay, and so many of them were unreleased in the U.S. Or in North America, so most of them are
Like
in Japan.
NBA 2K.
I mean, I can't believe we missed Jisen Pachi slot Isahol at the Pachi Kingdom.
So how do you feel about Pen Pen Triathlon?
Honestly, say I don't.
Goggle Bob, what are your top 3 rapid fires?
Aren't there only 5 of them?
I was saying, as far as I'm
Depends upon what
concerned,
you're
there's only
counting.
5.
I
And
mean, I
And
guess.
Dragon Quarter is like...
Where does Command Mission fit?
Yeah, Dragon Quarter doesn't feel right to rank against the rest of them, just because it's kind of like.
Because it's good.
Yeah, well, it's good, but it's like you've got 4 Mega Man games and 1 Mega Man X game. Like, of course it's better. like you can use a dash button. But I mean, the thing is with the exception of Breath of Fire 1, I could make the argument for any of them being my favorite. So, like, that's a thing.
Breath of Fire 2, the one lady doesn't have pants. Breath of Fire 3.
Breath of Fire
Yeah,
3.
sounds
What
right.
ladies wear
Dragon
your
Quarter at
wallet
number
all
4
the time?
I mean, like,
basically
Breath of
hits you
Fire
straight
4
in the
counts
soul.
I'm not gonna lie, like, when you said Breath of Fire, lady doesn't have pants, I was like, oh, go on.
She's a cat lady.
Her name is Cat.
I'm into it.
Whatever.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Love Shack.
Also, Ryu is a dragon. They're not subtle.
I'm learning.
But yeah, no, the Breath of Fire series it's one that is definitely by no means perfect for any of their games, but it is I feel like it has like 90 pounds of personality in a 10-pound pack. Like,
For me, like, that's actually I have the opposite problem. It feels like it has no defining characteristics to me.
yeah, no, I could not disagree with that more. Other than, again, Breath of Fire 1 is kind of low. But, like, just, God
Feels
help
like
me.
every other RPG from that time to me.
Yeah, well, see, I'm going to say this, and I feel like we're going to get letters, like, from our many, many fans who are going to disagree with
It's
this.
actually going to be me sending you like 1,000,000 angry letters.
I make
Yeah,
sense.
each one of them written in a different handwriting.
I really
different
like
colors
the
of
committed
pen.
to
idea
the bit.
of all of us like upping our bullying Goggle Bob game to the point where like we're sending letters to his mailbox just
we will,
to tell
we will
him.
dox Gogglebob just to be able to do this.
I have his address.
Me
I
too.
think Cass probably does too, so like between you two I'm sure I can get it.
I like the idea of both of them providing different parts of it to you. It's like you have to work together.
That way neither of them can that way you can't claim either of them doxed you.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I'm trying to protect them.
You could have gotten this address from anybody.
I mean,
I got a string of numbers and then a street name, but from 2 different people. It could have been anyone's.
But anyway,
does it
as I
have
was about to
posted?
say, my controversial statement is that the individual story vignettes in Breath of Fire games I prefer over Dragon Quest games.
Okay, so I'm going to actually like find you and just drive your skull into the ground.
I knew
It
we
would
were going to
be-
get letters for this.
Like it will be the moment when eventually I will realize that I am coming into contact with something that no longer really resembles gray matter. It's just so much dirt and concrete,
this escalated.
but unpleasantly,
I'm into
just
it.
deeply unpleasantly
It's
wet.
very rare when fanboy like gets this into a violent murder fantasy.
I am incensed at the notion of even comparing the storytelling between Dragon Quest and Breath of Fire.
And I'm going to emphasize like the individual town stories, not necessarily the overarching story.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, like Goggle Bob, if you thought you were defending yourself there, it's more like you just put a gun in your mouth and then dared fanboy to pull the trigger.
I just. Oh. Oh.
Just the utter like disgust. Ooh, what's that one? Let's see, E-boy, love. What's this one? I know I got another one. There we go. Show it to me. Show me my cool new graffiti. Ah! Hell yeah. So up, down, all around. Cool.
Up and
I'm
down.
looking at the Dreamcast list, and Seaman was never released in the European areas.
Well, I mean, like that feels like
It
That
feels
feels
like they missed out.
Remember Seaman 2?
I do not.
Late PS2 game for some reason.
Bizarre.
There's actually a PS2 version of Seaman that, for 90% of the game, seems to be the exact same game, and then it has like a weird new epilogue.
I really hope it's just Seaman. I really hope it's just Seaman's version of the supposed Spec Ops: The Line finale that never got made.
Leonard
Where
D-Boy
Seaman,
comes to your
where
house.
Seaman tells you he's your best friend and that he's glad that you're in his life, and then just says, "But we both know that's not how it happened," and shoots himself in the head.
Hey, I went through that whole list and found exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games that I would have actually that we had for Dreamcast.
What were they?
So Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver,
That's the best
Obviously.
version of it. Nice.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk. I'm just kind of
Hell yes.
Hell yeah.
that's just a category because
Absolutely
I don't
great.
know how many of those we actually had. And then we moved over to the PlayStation.
Yeah, there were 2 on
Oh.
Dreamcast, so presumably those 2.
I'm not sure if we had it or if one of my brother's friends had Echo the Dolphin.
Echo of a
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Not the best version of any Echo the Dolphin game.
I don't
And then
think Echo the
obviously-
Dolphin has best versions. I think it just has versions.
I am hoping that the end of this list is Who Wants to Beat Up a Millionaire.
No, I did see that and I was impressed by it, but we did have You Don't Know Jack on the PC, so.
And that was a much better game.
I'm assuming you had South Park Chef's Love Shack.
No, I just said it out loud because it was funny. I realized that's where all the South Park games started, I guess.
Yes.
They weren't really.
The very first one is an N64 game.
Oh, okay. Obviously Jet Set Radio.
Obviously.
And then I believe we also had the Dave Mira Freestyle BMX game.
Oh, that was before they made it
Pretty
to
good game.
BMX XXX,
Yep.
which
Before
Dave
the
Mira
lawsuit.
politely asked to be removed from, and then wasn't, and then sued them for it.
Like, he was removed, but they used him in ads, which is what happened.
Oh, I thought he was like still a playable character.
He is not a playable character in it. He was, like, you know, they weren't quite brazen enough to do that, but they still mentioned him in advertising, which it turns out is extremely illegal when someone has told you that they do not wish to be associated with your product.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
And I feel like that's,
think
like,
that
the one
also
part that he would
probably
notice you as a
probably like skirts the line for false advertising too. Not that that's what
Yeah,
Dave
at least
Mira
a
was
little bit.
suing them for, but you know, you're
was
making
a
a
bad
lot
night.
of poor choices in rapid succession here.
I am always undone by, like, the boobs in it was the thing that people, like, heard about, and it means that, like, and that was honestly, like, a best case scenario for the people making it, because it meant that everyone ignored the, like, overt racism and the part where you have, like, a multiplayer mode that's just shooting your opponent with a gun while they try to do bike tricks. Like,
I mean,
a
honestly,
genuinely deranged product.
I mean,
I'm
like
trying to
honestly,
imagine-
the part about like shooting your, like you're playing an FPS while your friend plays a skating game. That's kind of hilarious. Not gonna lie.
I mean, it vaguely reminds me of what is that dodgeball movie where it's like if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
yeah, like
Like it's
there's
that kind of thinking.
there is like a level of humor there that I appreciate. It's
I'm trying to imagine
deeply
the most.
inappropriate, but like I get it.
I'm trying to imagine the most concerning, like, list of 5 Dreamcast games that someone had, because I was hearing nothing but like just, oh yeah, no, these are normal, decent Dreamcast games for children to be around. This is not concerning in the least. And then like someone's like, yeah, you know, when I was growing up, we had Dreamcast, we had the Princess Maker collection, and
That's a thing.
I still
ECW
feel
Hardcore Revolution.
Oh, Jesus. I still feel like Who Wants to Beat Up a Millionaire would absolutely be on this list of deeply upsetting things to hear within someone's
You have
library.
to see if
God.
you haven't seen the box art. Look at the box art. because that is
Featuring
something to be
such
seen.
beloved characters as egregious villains. And
God.
Ronald Hump.
Wait.
Yeah,
wait.
we had Who Wants to Beat Up a Millionaire, South Park Rally.
It's not a bad game, but just telling anybody that you've ever played Wetris is just something that has to be explained.
I'm just imagining the child that's like, we had the superior version of Wetris.
Yeah, we have Wetris Plus on the Dreamcast.
I played
We had-
D2 35 times before the age of 12.
Okay, that would be deeply concerning for a multitude of reasons. Not to even get into like the opening of the game featuring a sexual assault.
Yeah. No. Oh God, yes, no. Like someone who developed like a Super Metroid speedrunner deep understanding of Mackin X.
God. Death Crimson 2.
I see that there's a Dreamcast game that's apparently a visual novel called Snow, but I'm just picturing a game that is just you turn it on and it's the quote unquote snow you see on a dead channel on your television and like just different versions of that.
See,
The,
I
the
assumed
game was the color of a
game
television
that
tuned
got
to a dead channel.
I assumed like when you said snow that it was just going to be like one of those like fireplace Yule log simulators. That like only like it's just like a snowy evening or something. I don't fucking
So
know.
many options for a
I fucked
1999
it up.
game that is just
Okay,
Snow.
so this is where I am right now. Is a quote-unquote secret area that is just ridiculously hard to climb, and I'm doing it. I'm gonna do it, but we might be.
I believe in you.
God,
That's fine.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at this. There's ECW Anarchy Rules, released by Acclaim Entertainment.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that was what they did after they lost the WWF license.
Yep, and then of course after ECW was completely dead, they moved on to Legends of Wrestling.
God, those were so bad.
All the stars are here. Superstar Jimmy Snuka.
Oh God, how many murderers are on that cast?
On the cover, we have one murderer, a confirmed child predator.
Oh god.
Which one's that again?
The King, Jerry the King Lawler.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
No, like they're infamously, a guy got bounced from Memphis Wrestling for life, for live on the air, like saying, "Yeah, Jerry Lawler is a pedophile." Like,
Sorry, I'm so knowing it beat to falling.
Certified pedophile.
King
Oh
Close.
hey,
Oh hey, that dovetails nicely with the conversation we're having today. Fucking Dr.
God, Anarchy
Disrespect.
Rules. The cover, the cover with Just Incredible, Sandman. You know, I found out that a friendly acquaintance of mine is actually on a podcast with Sandman, aka Hack.
that's wild.
Yeah, they just
That just happened.
every week they get together and they ask him his opinion about various things that are going on, and he delivers them.
He has them. He has opinions.
Let's see the cover. So yeah, we've got Just Incredible, Hack, Tommy Dreamer, Rhino, and RVD. Like just
RVD is the most dignified person on there.
RVD. Okay, none of these men. I would not leave my wife alone in a room with any of these men. Let's just
Fair.
say this first.
Yeah,
But yeah,
obviously.
I would mail something to RVD because
Like you
I
would
have,
trust that he wouldn't just do something horrible with your address immediately.
exactly. Like any of these other other gentlemen, I just don't know.
They would use it as a place to to get a drop off of something horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
Like some sort of
Did you get a
steroid
package for me?
that hasn't been like some sort of steroid that hasn't been legal outside of former Soviet Union countries in at least 20 years.
Like, it has to be squeezed from the glands of political prisoners.
Yeah.
Like that is the only way it can be produced.
And they're just like, yeah, did you get that package for me? I'm sorry, I just it was the last address I'd entered and it just autofilled.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
funny
need
how
it.
that works. Yeah, it was because I noticed that because I saw a pallet of CDRWs dropped off
Oh no.
in my driveway, and that raised some questions.
The police no longer take my calls.
I have been declared outlaw. No laws apply to me, and by the same token, no one who harms me will be punished. I now live in the flicker.
The thing that the other thing I think about with Legends of Wrestling is that someone did it would have had to have done it directly in the wake of the Heroes of Wrestling pay-per-view, which really should have taught them that this was an idea with no constituency or shelf life.
Okay. Fanboy, you must someday just summon all of your misanthropy and concentrate it to a razor's keen, and with it, edit the lowlights of the Heroes of Wrestling pay-per-view. Drop this, upload it to outer heaven.
Oh God!
I want America.
We can get that down to a tight 30 minutes.
Yeah, a tight 30 minutes of Yokozuna shambling to the ring and nearly dying from the exertion.
Oh God!
of Jake the Snake Roberts putting a boa constrictor between his legs and stroking it.
God, the list of people on this pay-per-view is what the fuck? It's if you had told me that the one-man gang had fucking had a heart attack in 1994 and that someone had paraded out his shambling corpse, I would have said, yes, that makes more sense than him having been paid to be here.
Oh God, yeah. The years have passed, and I have really turned around on my opinion of Greg the Hammer Valentine. That I've actually watched him when he was things like Mobile and Sapient. But truly, the Greg the Hammer Valentine that showed up to the Heroes of Wrestling was
not Mobile and not Sapient.
Not his best self.
We could have a known murderer. With Mario, defeat Bob Orton Jr. Because if you ever thought, man, I sure don't care about Randy Orton, you could think, well, I got an Orton you'll care even less about.
Here are people your parents heard of.
I'm just gonna briefly say I appreciate this tag match has. Why are these people together? Why are Jim Neidhart and King Kong Bundy tagging against Jake the Snake and Yokozuna?
Alright, if I can talk about the game for just a second.
No!
Fair enough.
Have you ever been on one of these streams, Pete?
Yeah, I've felt a few times.
I will allow it.
Oh, thank you, sir. Kind sir. No, I just wanted to point out that Red literally just got shot in the head, and he just sort of moved his head a little bit, ow.
I mean, he does have a giant metal helmet on.
Yeah.
The worst thing that could possibly happen to his head has already happened. So
yeah.
And it wasn't even his head; it was his neck.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up that this match that Yokozuna participated in, this was almost exactly 54 weeks before his death.
God.
It's weird when you look at it like that, because it's oh, this was a countdown timer, and this was squandered, sadly. But don't worry, the very first match on the card featured a tag team that someone probably remembered, the Samoan SWAT team.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Also, Marty Jannetty teaming with someone who is not Shawn Michaels, and therefore you don't care.
Oh, Samu and the Samoan Savage with Paul Adams and Sika.
Paul Adams, a man of no Wikipedia page.
Oh my God, I love that the Bushwhackers no longer had the rights to the Bushwhackers name and had to wrestle as the men
they were the men
under.
down under. And for inexplicable reasons, we're wrestling the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov. Very old, like, fucking Iron Curtain era gimmicks.
I once heard an interview by a guy who was decided, who was very early in his pro wrestling career, and riding in a car with Sid Vicious, Iron Sheik, and I forget who the last guy was. Like,
but coked out of their minds.
All of them, well, except for Sid Vicious, completely coked out of their minds, because Sid Vicious was actually a very serious bodybuilder. Everyone else, he said, Sid Vicious was a sports entertainer. Everyone else in there was a pro wrestler. And Sid Vicious is like, hey guys, let's stop at a gym on the way so we can get a pump. And like, so there's Sid Vicious working out really hard, and there's Iron Sheik just like surreptitiously drinking vodka out of a water bottle and touching his face while staring in the mirror.
Oh yeah, that's
the
that's
Iron Sheik was a once.
That's definitely like, oh, they don't know I'm high, right? Behavior.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Iron
no
Sheik
one in this
was
room knows I'm high.
The Iron Sheik was a once in a generation kind of man. Like, just fully like a man who I'm not sure he ever decided. Like, it feels like he decided that anyone that he was pitted against, it was his duty to hate.
Yes.
Like it was not a performance. It was his job to hate them. A man who carried that and carried it into a brand that would survive as a lovely Twitter account up until his death.
Yes.
I
But will never.
He brought that energy online. Right? Very few did.
Yeah.
I will never get over that. Like the occasional, like, when he outlived a wrestler, you would get one kind tweet about them.
Yeah.
The one that felt the most genuine to me was when Roddy Piper died, and he just tweeted, "I'm sad now."
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's weirdly touching.
Sheiky Baby saying is like, one time, like, one wrestler died, and he said, I always liked, dead wrestler. He is much better than O.J. Simpson kill his wife.
But thankfully, the one shining spot of him being outlived by Hulk Hogan is that we never see him. That every single interaction and tweet he ever had about Hulk Hogan was that Hulk Hogan was a huge piece of shit that he hated.
Yeah. Not difficult. Not difficult, like, stance to hold. For what it's worth.
No, it's just good.
Truth.
It was just good that he was forever true to the gimmick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. At no point did Hulk Hogan deserve a kind Iron Sheik tweet. Anyway, I beat up this robot cops.
Walk like Super Cop.
Oh my god. My brother heard the song Butterfly and was like, what is this? This song sucks so bad. When I told him the band's name was Crazy Town, he got visibly upset and couldn't process that a band would have a name so stupid. So I told him the singer's name.
What is the singer's name in Crazy Town?
Shifty Shell Shock.
That's
Noted.
beautiful.
Noted Mega Man boss.
Oh, Shifty Shell Shock is dead. He died today.
Wait, he did?
Jesus.
He did.
Shifty Shell Shock dead at 49.
I'm sorry that you have to hear the news about Shell Shock today. I wish there was a word to describe what you're feeling at this sheer level of surprise.
I am playing an extremely low bit rate clip of a Ninja Turtle saying, "Ooh, Shell Shock."
He appeared on reality TV series Celebrity Rehab and Sober House.
That is not a place you go when you intend to be sober for long.
Were those two different shows?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sure one's a spin-off of the other.
So
He went on Celebrity Rehab 1 and did so badly that they brought him back for Celebrity Rehab 2. Sorry, Dr. Drew's Celebrity Rehab. Let's say this again. And he did even worse in Celebrity Rehab 2. So they spun him off into his own show, Sober House.
So this was not unexpected death, is what I'm getting.
Like, I'm reasonably certain that like there's a Death Clock episode that's just about Crazy Town, and one of the best lines in it is when like Toki is just discussing them with Murderface, and he goes, "Oh yeah, they all have very serious heroin problems."
I'm just remembering the scene of like Pickle's other band like getting completely fucked up on Totally Sweet Alabama Liquid Snake.
Thanks for forgetting the full name of it. Now I'm going to need you to say it like Mark Hamill.
Oh, I don't have what it takes.
That's incredible. And 2, I searched for the TV show Sober House, and Google suggested a suicide crisis hotline.
Listen, we don't know why you're trying to find this TV show. We don't know why you're trying to find this TV show, but buddy,
Have you
there's better
considered that
things
your
for
life
you in
has
life.
meaning? Yeah, your life has meaning.
You could be doing anything with your life. Why are you looking?
You don't have to watch Sober House, we promise.
Well, it gets better. It gets better
No.
because there were two. There was Sober House 1 and Sober House 2.
So he failed again. They did it again.
I'm gonna
Wait,
guess
so
that
it's
Sober
like,
House
is he
1
just like
ended.
really super into drugs?
Oh
I guess
yes,
he'd have to
yes.
be.
He was like
dangerous
Weird thing to
when
say.
it's very dangerous when drugs become your hobby. There is nothing to replace them with.
he is like
I'm one of those guys who like thinks that drugs should mostly be legal, but like
yeah.
this is a man who is like racked by
Like
addiction.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, certainly, like for the most part, yes, they should be, but at the same time, that would also include people need to be able to have like actual good help.
Yeah, there needs to be like ways for people to like not be like just destroyed by their addiction.
An exploitative freak show.
Yeah.
This is a man who looks at like Bam Margera. It just looks like, oh, that's light work.
Lightweight.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine looking at Bam and going, "What a pussy."
Yeah, exactly.
That edible ain't shit.
The first person to say that edible ain't shit and actually mean it.
Yep.
We'll say it looks like it's still too early to have cause of death information publicly released.
I mean, we're
just
assume
making
this.
some fair assumptions.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
it
not
seems like
arguing any of that.
It seems like a safe bet. You know what I mean?
His cause of death is just his television bibliography. Come on, man. Cause of death, Sober House 3.
And all of that, and all the footage that was completed before his tragic death will be available on Max.
Oh God.
Oh, did you see? Speaking of Max, did you see the announcement today that the next 3 things that will be on Max are going to be distinctly HBO originals? They have determined that the whole Max branding has absolutely failed.
It's time to rebrand
I
back
mean,
to
like
HBO Go for some reason.
they changed their name from like a brand that like has a lot of respect, right? Because people like when they say HBO original, that implies something to a very common word. I don't know what they thought they were doing.
I believe the common thought process was that HBO was seen as elitist, and also that they wanted to put 90 Day Fiancé on the same level as The Sopranos.
That seems like a terrible.
And I will
mistake.
point out that they changed the brand from the same place where you get The Sopranos to the same place where you get Mountain Monster.
Hell yes. Big
Honestly-
Feats is the only good thing to come out of this.
Honestly, Monster's kind of sick. Not gonna lie.
I finally sat down and watched an episode of that before I let my Max subscription go out.
Laps.
And it's kind of crazy after having watched or having listened to the podcast about it, because the podcast 100% considers everything that happens on the screen a billion times more than the people actually making the show.
Oh yeah.
Because
Like-
the actual show, when you watch it, it moves at such a breakneck speed where, like, a character literally pisses themselves, and it's just like, that happened, moving on. And, like, the podcast is like, can we talk about this for a second?
We need to briefly consider what's going on here, because the show certainly didn't.
Yeah, exactly. But the show, for starring a bunch of 70-year-old hillbillies, like, it moves at a breakneck speed, considering, like, let's say its characters don't move at a breakneck speed.
Like, it needs to, because, like, otherwise you'll sit down and think, why are we 8 seasons in and they have killed every Nosferatu in human history, but have never caught footage of a single one?
Well, that's
Wait,
not
I mean,
fair.
is
They
this-
did in fact
Is this
catch
Bigfoot-
lots of
Bigfoot
footage.
hunters, or
Yes.
It's
Mountain
called Mountain
Monsters.
Monsters. It is a form of Bigfoot hunting, but they do not restrict themselves to Bigfoots. They have fought and killed and somehow never caught on camera Bigfoots and Wolfmans and everything else.
Giant warthog.
Yes, giant warthog.
What about, what was it? That number of feral hogs or whatever?
30 to 50
Yeah.
feral hogs.
Okay, they're absolutely the people posting about 30 to 40 feral hogs. Like, the
You
weird
do
thing
not
is,
underestimate the upper bound. 30 to 50.
I will point out that Mountain Monsters in the show is that if you, like, went to school with these people somehow, like, you went to elementary school with these 7-year-old hillbillies, and they were telling
If you're
you
a
about,
boomer of a certain persuasion.
and they were telling you about what they did over the weekend, you would not believe a single goddamn word.
Because they would immediately be talking about getting abducted by space aliens or whatever.
Yeah, like, no, they're, well, I mean, they don't even need space aliens. They're just fighting Bigfoots. And
Like,
sometimes they go to
there was
cave.
like every child learns, like, not to trust certain kids on the playground by whichever one starts talking about, like, their fucking the time that they met an alien or whatever.
Their uncle who
Yeah,
works at
yeah.
Nintendo.
No, they
This is an
trust
entire
that
show
they
that
trust
works
that
at
person
Nintendo.
because
Yeah,
they
no.
want to believe.
We all
It
want
takes
to.
until it takes until you meet a person who has a lie that they want you to believe desperately that you have no interest in.
There's like levels
Yeah,
of fake lists.
How could this be interesting?
Yeah, like, this is a lie. It is not a lie I have any investment in.
Like, even if you believe they met an alien, how does that help?
Why would I care?
Did the alien tell you what was going on in his math homework? Because that is more concerning to me.
Did the
Minor-
alien tell you how ET works? Fuck E ET.
Me and my friends would have killed that motherfucker with hammers, I'll tell you what. Alright,
You were saying?
thing to note about this game, I just, like, you can lose all, like, police attention by going into one of the, like, portable bathrooms and changing shirts, basically.
Just like real life.
But you'll still have, like, the gigantic, cartoony, broken handcuff on your wrist. The police don't
Yeah.
notice that. They're
And
like,
also
That's
a
fashion
giant
statement.
red head.
yeah. extremely subtle.
Which you've seen other robot dudes, but you haven't seen anybody who's exactly you.
Better red than head.
Actually, there are tons of, like, NPCs who have robot heads. It's just a thing. One of the old heads you can actually talk to later in the game, and he just... Because, like, most people who have robot heads were, like, basically dying in one way or another, and we're like, oh, I'll just get a robot head. No big deal. His deal was that he had brain cancer, and was like, well, it won't be me. I'm not sympathesizing my brain. It'll just be somebody with all my
But
memories.
someone might as well have my body.
But, you know, like, allowing a robot version of me to live is kind of cool. He likened it to having a child. It wasn't going to be you,
Yeah, that's
but
a
it would,
fair
like,
way of
have
looking at
your...
it.
But it would, like, have the lessons that you learned. And I was like,
That's philosophical.
that's a really, like, weird philosophical angle for this game about skateboarding to have.
The lessons that you learned being, don't get brain cancer, avoid that.
I feel like he probably learned other lessons too. I respect this man too much. I love when you just like are fucking skateboarding upside down.
Oh yeah, that rules. In
What
Jet
is
Set
that?
Radio, they mentioned that the skates were magnetic, and there were
Yeah.
only like roller skates in those games. This game does not even try to justify it. It's just like, nah, fuck it, we just go.
This is aesthetic.
And God,
this is funny.
speaking of aesthetic, do I love how this game looks. Every shot in this game is beautiful.
What if a Dreamcast game
Now
could be
then.
enormous?
Oh, this is a good one. Nvidia jumps past the value of the UK and French stock markets. Okay, well, Nvidia makes GPUs, and France makes French people.
Why does it always come back to France?
Don't adjust.
Because people recognize France as a thing.
Yeah, we all know about France.
Like, you say turkey, and people think you're talking about a sandwich.
Well, maybe you do.
Maybe. All right, I got to get some sleep. It's after 11.
Have a great night, man.
Yeah.
Have a good one. Good luck with the pool.
I will finish off
Yeah.
this level because I gotta like beat the eclipse.
Yeah, you got the old
You-
Apparently their thing is that they're all super into tarot reading and like divination. It doesn't really come up often.
They do look like they're dressed for a D&D game, so it does make sense.
Really, I don't see it. Like D&D system.
Like they look like they're like half in wizard cosplay.
All right, sure, I get that.
So I just came across a meme,
All right.
and it.
I
it
am
was
becoming a meme.
No, apparently it was in like a Gen X group or something that I have since posted to a Discord where I am old enough to be a parent to most of the
That's always
users.
a nightmare.
Is Chrome still with us? They might have an opinion on this.
Okay, but tell me that you all understand this one. And then the little dog would say, "Yo quiero Taco Bell," and we would all laugh and laugh. It was a simpler time.
I mean, yeah.
You sound like someone describing stories from their grandparents.
That's the way it's written.
I know.
I mean, it only applies to some people in the chat, but it's one of those, if you recognize this meme, don't forget to get your prostate exam. Like, it's very important.
Oh, you know, men of a certain age, we gotta be worried about our plumbing.
Speaking of grandfathers, though, something I observed last night, I had a town council meeting to go to, and I had not seen in the wild, but I have seen commentary on the internet about. What style socks do you guys wear?
Socks, like the kind that go on your feet, so your shoes don't stink.
Right, but how solid are they?
I don't know.
Ones that go up to like past my ankles, I guess.
Yeah, like past the ankle, typically, I guess.
Yeah, no,
Like
mine
not
are-
not to
my
the knee,
socks are
past the
as short as
ankle.
possible.
Yeah.
Right, so apparently the Gen Z thing is crew socks.
Weird.
Whereas millennials, as the meme goes at this point, are ankle socks or no-show socks.
Okay,
I'm a millennial.
I guess.
I saw this in action in public. However, my first instinct was the young kid with the crew socks and the boat shoes or whatever they're called and the cargo shorts reminded me of my grandfather.
All right.
I mean, these things are
About to
like
go out fishing.
wonderful.
The cycle is real.
The power is yours.
I totally didn't notice their enormous shoulder pads. Oh my god.
How did you not know? That was the first thing I noticed.
I was staring at their asses.
I was just thinking,
I'm
like,
not
you got a
surprised.
team of Murphy Browns here.
I'd like to point out that Beat had, let's see, 3 completed files of this.
And not once did he
I
look
mean, I'm sure
up.
I noticed it at some point. Was like, huh, cool. But like, you know,
I don't believe it.
Honestly, it looks like a Transformer style shoulders.
yeah.
Robots in disguise.
And
I mean,
these
they're
guys
called
are wearing
eclipse, and that's like the
Adidas.
black-white thing that's going on.
God bless the old heads.
The old heads rule. Oh no!
Get another dream sequence?
Hopefully.
Oh no! Timber! He's dehydrated.
Yeah, see, that's why you stick up on your liquid.
I love
even if
these
you got a
dream
robot
sequences.
head.
Look at this. This rules.
Just run through everybody.
Oh no, I don't run. I rocket
Jet.
packed. This is what I.
Get fucked, buddy.
This is what I think
Push
of
him
your
off.
public assembly. Oh yeah, this one. This one's cool. I like this one.
You just see this enormous tag spot calling to you.
Real Mario Galaxy vibes here.
Super Mario
Bomb
Graffiti.
Rush Galaxy. There was some,
I would play Super Mario Graffiti.
That's what I.
but Mario's a good boy.
And that's why he knows that graffiti is art.
Yeah.
Actually, come to think of it, obviously the best Mario game ever is all about cleaning up graffiti.
Why would
Oh.
you even pretend to say that?
Just to bother you.
You already made me want to crush your skull.
And you described it in like such horrifying, vivid detail.
Dude's got powerful opinions about Dragon Quest versus Breath of Fire.
I mean, it's not like he's
For
wrong.
example, one of them is incredible, and one of them is like just the most replacement level Super Nintendo RPG.
Replacement level, wow. I'm sorry, did
I'm
you
pulling
forget?
out the sports metaphors.
Did you forget that there's a character not wearing pants?
I can play so many games with better characters who aren't wearing pants.
Also, like if you're making the comparison to Dragon Quest, there's like Bunny Girl as a class in Dragon Quest. Come on, God.
It's true.
Like, I think we all know that I like horny bunnies at this point.
This was always a rhetorical question.
Yeah,
when
it
we were
was.
playing it before.
Which, by the way, the new Dragon Quest 3 remake, did I hear that they're adding another class to that?
I didn't hear such a thing. It wouldn't
I haven't heard
Okay.
anything about that
surprise
either.
me.
Because like,
I thought I
3
heard
is-
something about that. Just
3
I was
is the
going to
one I'm looking
comment,
forward
like,
to. I really liked
3
Dragon
is
Quest.
beloved.
Yeah, 3's
Yeah,
great.
Three is-
in
I've never
Japan, that
seen
is
somebody-
the archetype of classic Dragon Quest.
I thought
Yeah, I've
Dragon
never
Quest 4 was the one that like got all the remakes and stuff. Well,
No, it's 3 that gets the re-releases and the remakes most often.
oh, what's the one that like has like the story where the guys?
You're thinking of 5, I think.
Okay, that makes sense.
the one where you have a kid.
The one where you have a kid,
Yeah,
he's
five-
like the actual
five is
hero, and all that.
Yeah,
cool
that's
stuff.
one of my favorite. Yeah, that's a twist in that, and it's one of my favorites in any game. But I love, man, I just want to say, I love how Dragon Quest V starts, where you're like a 5-year-old, so you're just like an assist in your dad's party. And like the start of the game is you like wandering off because you're fucking 5, you just do things.
Yeah, that's what 5-year-olds
And
tend to do. As
You
5-year-olds
you
should
get
do.
into a fucking fight, and as it looks like you're about to be attacked, your dad just jumps into the fight and starts killing things.
I mean, as good fathers tend
As
to
you
do
should.
when
Yeah.
when presented with somebody threatening their child.
Yeah, I love how that is all entirely just brought forward by game mechanics.
Now, you might be interested to know that Breath of Fire 2
I'm not.
Is mostly kind of boring.
starts with the exact same scenario.
Yeah. It's almost like Dragon Quest V was very popular. And yet, Breath of Fire 2 doesn't bring it off with even a tenth the emotionality.
Did we even get 5 in this country?
We did not get it at the time. We eventually got it on DS.
But we got Breath of Fire 2, checkmate.
I just don't like. I should just give you the shittiest possible version, the like cheapest bootleg version of something popular in another country, and be like, yeah, it's the best thing of all time now, isn't it?
Wetrix Plus.
Like, why would you want to fucking like? Oh, I had Hatris as a kid. That's way better than Tetris.
I mean, it was the sequel to Tetris. Anyway, kind of important plot reveal coming up here. We just dreamed about some dude we didn't know, and then we saw like the guy who got his head cut off push us off a roof again.
Symbolic.
But meanwhile, the cops are like,
Oh
"Hey,
no, they're doing
we
a minority report.
we created Minority Report, and all we needed to do it was this crazy machine. I wonder what the crazy machine is."
The little dudes are gonna crap balls with those things.
I absolutely misread crime prediction as crime production,
Oh, that too.
and that didn't seem particularly out of left field.
Oh yeah.
It does keep
Lex Luthor's just in there.
crap business.
Yeah.
Oh, yellow eyes turn red.
Well, he got all the crimes downloaded. He knows how to stop them now.
I've downloaded crime. I know how
I've
to
downloaded the
make laws about it.
criminals.
You wouldn't even believe how drunk and disorderly I can get now. It shouldn't even be possible. I got a robot head.
Crime would be a torrent file, right?
Obviously.
I love how like he tells you, "Oh yeah, Belle was super concerned." It just cuts over to Belle just playing with her phone again.
Thinking about it was so hype.
I mean, you can be concerned about somebody, but also bored with the fact that they're not awake yet.
Honestly, if I was concerned about someone, I would probably be looking at my phone a lot just to have something to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, see, there you
I get
go.
it. But like for her,
The body language
yeah,
is very fun.
.exe. I love these motherfuckers. Robot b-boys.
Why do they have cue balls for heads?
Why wouldn't they?
Up next,
It's
we
like a
Because they're b-boys.
up next we
Also
force
because
Gogglebub to
there's
play.
9 of them. So, you know, there's one for each ball.
Up next, we force Gogglebob to play beloved arcade beat 'em up B-Rap Boys.
How does
Alright, and I think that's far enough
Oh,
in
yeah.
the game for one evening. But yeah, Bomb
I'm
Rush
just going to
Cyberpunk. I
state-
really like it, and I'm really glad we're doing a series on it. I'm very happy about that.
I'm just going to state B-Rap Boys was available at the parkade that.
Of course it was.
Of course it fucking was. Alright, stream over. Good night, everybody.